I need some coffee. Bean coffee. Je suis bean coffee. Je suis le café. Je suis bean coffee. Wo shuo yingwen he zhongwen. Wo shi wo shi yingwen lao shi he lu shi. Metal Mechanic's in a bad mood this morning. Holy shit. Saw the noti and I was like, fuck this stream. I'm gonna chat and pause. Well, I didn't know you were streaming, Phoebes. Well, good morning. Hey, 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 hey. Ni shuo yingwen de budway. Ni shuo yingwen de budway. 对，我说英文和中文。Penguin. A really dope stream a day or two ago that you should check out a good time, especially towards the middle end. There's a part where we had a really cool combo about determinism. Neato burrito. Chilling with my bean coffee. I like that certain words in Mandarin sound like they should. You know what I mean? Like bing is cold. It's like bing. Like it just makes me think of like, you know. Rubber ducky isopods. I don't know what those are. Hot is not as easy. Hot is bleh. But bing definitely sounds cold. Bing. I'm a big stepper, hot chili pepper. Is there any better word for duck than duck? I don't know. You really think a Chinese takeover is imminent? A takeover is kind of a wild way to put it. I think that a Chinese cultural shift is taking place. And I think that the world is going to, maybe not immediately now, but over the next 20, 30 years, I think the world is going to start looking to China for things that typically they have looked to the West for. Entertainment, music, movies, video games, all of it steeped with Chinese culture. That's what I think is happening. It's like, what was that game where you could send little priests out and they'd be like, whoa, lo, 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 and then they would turn your enemies like units against like into your units. What was that game? Was that Age of Empires? Yeah. Whoa, lo, lo, lo. That's like what's happening right now, dude. The Chinese are sending a bunch of little priests, and they're going, whoa, lo, 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 lo. Like little things are turning into Chinese, bro. Monkey Souls was the tipping point. I mean, Monkey Souls, dude. People aren't talking enough about this. Monkey Souls is a big, giant, wet kiss from China saying, hey, we're interesting over here. Look at our fucking history. Look at our mythology. You know, it's tough to look away from. Do you think it'd be violent or passive? Yeah, it's passive. That's the way culture works typically. I mean, that doesn't mean that there won't be battles or wars or conflicts. But yeah, I mean, China has, over the last 20 or 30 years, has really, really, as a nation, made it a priority to be culturally standout. The first time I started thinking about this was I was just watching some YouTube video, and I wish I could find it because it just blew my mind. The YouTube video, came on, and it was somebody on a train pulling into a Chinese city from an elevated train track. And and it was night, and this person filmed it, and I shit you not, when I first started looking at it, I was like, oh, this is from a movie. This is like from Blade Runner or something. Talking like it just like unbelievable. And it wasn't even like one of their main cities. It wasn't Beijing. It was like, just a minor city. And it looked like something so polished and perfect that it was designed to be in some sort of, near future sci-fi film. It was fucking unbelievable. And this was a couple of years ago that I saw that. And ever since then, I've been kind of quietly but intently paying attention to what's coming out of China. Culturally speaking, like, what are they putting out? What are they showing the world? Like, how are they throwing down the cultural gauntlet? And the answer is they have adopted a sense of perfectionism and a sense of aesthetics that just really speaks to me. Now, before you go correcting me in the chat, I realize that if you take, a 20-mile trip outside of most Chinese cities, you're going to find rural agrarian areas that are very much like behind the cities. I'm not making excuses for the Chinese social structure. I'm just saying that country has been almost unifocused on, upping its cultural output. Well, everybody's got a radiant culture. Everybody. Culture by its nature is radiant. Culture by its nature draws other people to it. So yeah. Do you have any advice for feeling better after a breakup? I thought being alone would make me feel better, but I feel worse now. Yeah, man. It's what's her name? Urgel is her name in the Neverending Story. Um, you know, what's his name? What is the guy's name in that? Atreyu. Atreyu has just almost died in the swamps of sadness, saved only at the last millisecond by Falkor the Luck Dragon, who flies his almost lifeless body 10,000 miles and lands him at the hut of Egebuk and Urgel, these two little people who kind of study the Southern Oracle. And Urgel is a healer, and she has dressed Atreyu's wounds, and she's adjusting one, and he goes when she touches it, and she goes, "Oh yes, it has to hurt if it's to heal." And that's what it is with breakups, my dude. It has to hurt before it heals. It's gonna suck for a while, but if you start taking note every little day, it'll get a little easier, and you'll be all right. Dinor, that is your puppy buddy friend over there. No, no, you don't bark. Hey, you leave your puppy buddy friend over there and let him do his own thing, and you do your own thing. See? He's your buddy. No, don't get mad. He's your buddy over there. See? He got his yard, you got your yard. But I don't want to hear no more grumbling, no grousing. Hey, come on, get over here. Get over here, lay down. No more grumbling, no more grousing. You don't like it, don't look at it. Actually, I get my monitor back tomorrow. I could clip it. Dinor, come here. What did I tell you? Huh? What did I tell you? If you don't like it, don't look at it. Because you see that wood right there? Where that wood ends, your business ends. On this side of the wood, somebody comes back here that ain't supposed to be here, that's your business. But that dog, over on that other side of his own fence, and what he's up to and what he thinks is none of your business. So come over here. Come on. No, you come over here. This way. No, Dinor, come on. Lay down. You don't like it, don't look at it, don't worry about it. Yeah, Dinor's going woo loo 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 loo, but the neighbor's backyard. Well, you really are a font of old school, real ass wisdom. Nah, I'm just old. Dude, wisdom and age sometimes look like the same thing, okay? I'm just old as fuck. I just been through it, bro. I've been through it here, I've been through it there. I've learned a little lesson along the way. You'll be old someday too. And you'll understand that like what other people see as wisdom is just you calling it like it is. To be old and wise, one must first be young and stupid. Sure, why not? I'm already older than most of my coworkers, and they constantly accuse me of same. Genuine wisdom, in my opinion, goes a step beyond good advice. Genuine wisdom can relay a deep and complex concept easily. That is how I define genuine wisdom. And that doesn't necessarily rely on age. Wisdom, I think, is typified by how well you can make your position known and how simply and easily digestible you can make it. So I'm on the other end of that, Phoebes. I kind of go a little too long. I'm a little bit long-winded. Oh yeah, free words of wisdom. There you go. What does it say down here? Let me read one. You must feel the force around you. Size matters not. What else do we got down here? Always in motion is the force. I can't read some of these. This shirt, poor shirt is so old. Do or do not. There is no try. Of course. Are you a cult leader? What do you think? You want to join my cult? Yeah, all the wisest double tap the screen. It has to hurt if it's to heal. Give me the telescope, wench, you know nothing. The worst is yet to come. The mirror of truth. Kind men find out that they are cruel. Brave men find out that they are cowards. And most men, when confronted with the truth, run away screaming. Oh God, that's such a good movie. There's so much. I gotta tell you guys, that film being, if you want an example of how children's films have degraded, look no further than the Neverending Story. Compare the Neverending Story to Inside Out. Okay? Just unbelievable thoughtfulness and a beautifully written script and beautifully presented versus just a throwaway garbage skibbity goddamn fucking color explosion in your face. I mean, look at the fucking concepts that are introduced in just a couple of the scenes in Neverending Story. Nihilism. Nihilism and inertia, right? We're tired of sneezing. Go away. Nothing matters. How could you do that? How can you just let the world be taken? We don't even care whether or not we care. Nihilism, right? The inner journey, right? So, that scene I was just talking about where Egevik is describing the mirror of truth. And, Atreyu has been going through all these trials and he gets past the Southern Oracle, only barely. Believes in himself long enough to pass before the eyes of the statues. And when he gets past that, he is faced with the truth about himself. That's the hardest part of the Southern Oracle. It isn't believing in yourself, it's having to face yourself. Not as you want to be seen, but as you truly are. Kind men find out that they are cruel. Strong men find out that they are weak. That's Taoism. It's just it's 8 layers deep and it's a kid's movie. You're almost named Atreyu, but they went with Jareth instead. Isn't Jareth, yeah, Jareth is the Goblin King. How you move my world, you precious thing. Right? You're starved and near exhaustion. Everything I've done for you. I move the stars for no one. You've run so long, you've run so far. Your eyes can be so cruel. Just as I can be so cruel. Dude, kids just got ripped off, bro. That's why I'm saying, man, if you grew up in my era, you got the best of a lot of shit, bro. I'm not even kidding. Dark Crystal. Kids' movies used to be real. Used to be meat on the bone. They used to make you think. They used to scare you and challenge you. Go watch Secret of Nim. Go watch An American Tale. These are movies that are sad and frightening and real. They're not, what if boredom came to life? It's fucking retarded. Yeah, Roger Rabbit. I mean, just look at kids' film from back in the day. Live action films that were kids' movies. Goonies, The Explorers. These movies, like, unbelievably good. Watchable for adults, but awesome for kids. And they explored literary themes and philosophical themes that, for a lot of us, it was the first time, like, I didn't know it when I was a kid, but I was introduced to stoicism and existentialism by the movies I was watching. Yeah, Neverending Story. We were just talking about it. Turn around. Look at what you see. There's a dream. And what will be will be. Dude, it's Taoism the movie. And there beyond the rainbow is the answer to a never-ending story. Oh, 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 oh. You Naruto guys are something else, man. Quit spreading that virus around, yo. You caught it, okay? There's nothing you can do. It's like you got Lyme disease, okay? There's no need to like whine about it personally. You're a fat, sweaty weeb with a Naruto headband on, okay? People laugh at you. But don't be recruiting. Don't try and spread it around. Just stop. All right? Enough people are into Naruto, okay? There doesn't need to be one more lost soul into Naruto. There doesn't need to be one more 320-pound fat guy at an anime convention ninja running, okay? We've seen it. We've been there. There's enough of you. There's enough. Quit recruiting. Hello, beautiful. How are you?
Okay.
Can I get you a cup of coffee? I didn't make any hot coffee, but I can make you a cold one.
No, I'll fix my hot coffee here in a little bit, but thank you for offering.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Look who's calling people fat. Oh, don't get salty about it, bro. Don't get mad about it. Just stop recruiting for Naruto. That's all. Okay? There's plenty of you. What you smoking on? Straight gas. 24/7, 365.
I'm very picky about the cold coffee. Like, I like cold brew, but like only with like all the stupid syrup and shit from Starbucks and their fancy cream.
Well, yeah. You prefer le cafe to Bing cafe. I just like coffee. Hot, cold, give it to me.
You've seen me, like, when we stay at hotels, I give a fuck how shitty that coffee is as long as it's hot. I'll be the stupid little hotel coffee maker.
Yeah. I have trouble with hot in Chinese because the pronunciation is very unintuitive. It's R-E with an accent mark over the R in Pinyin. And you would think it would be R or re. Like when I first started learning it, I was like, recha. But it's not. It's not R. You don't start with R. You start with, it's almost like a J sound. It's like, yeah. But it's not. That's not it either. It's back in your throat. It's yeah. It's hard. I really struggle with it, the pronunciation. And there's going to be a lot of words that have that kind of back of the throat glottal thing that we just don't even do in our. That's one thing about English that I think makes it hard to learn for people. English is a forward language.
Yeah.
It is all here. It is up in your nose. It's coming right out of your lips. And a lot of like what I'm starting to learn about Mandarin is a lot of it's back here in the back of your throat.
other countries that like roll their R's and shit. We don't really do that.
Yeah, R rolling isn't something that we ever do in English. Like accenting certain vowels or consonants with a trill or a guttural sound from the back of the throat. That's just nothing like that in English at all. Yeah, I'm learning Mandarin, yeah. But some of it I really like some what you call it, grammar in Mandarin is super simple in a lot of ways because it doesn't have all of the variations of verbs and conjugations and stuff that we do. So one size fits all, right? I was pointing it out the other day, but sh, right? SHI in pinyin, sh. So wo sh, I am. Ni sh, you are. Am and are the same word.
Yeah, it just
The verb doesn't change based on the tense and usage.
I think what's also hard about English is we're not taught a lot of the grammar rules. We just kind of are expected to, like, intuitively know them.
Well, we are taught them, but unintuitively so.
Yeah.
Like you can't intuitively teach some of the grammar rules. So some of it you pick up just speaking.
Well, I meant like the order of adjectives. Well, we're not really taught the order of adjectives, but we've learned it through reading and stuff.
And talking and hearing other people
so,
speak.
Like, something will sound off to us, but we can't explain why it sounds off to us.
Well, that's why, like, in the public school system, especially in this area and areas like this with heavy migrant populations, ESL students are at a huge disadvantage because you're absolutely right. Teaching English in public school is almost entirely reliant on the fact that you're getting a little kid whose parents are speaking English to it. Mm-hmm. It's coming to you
reading English and all that.
It's coming to you in kindergarten, maybe not reading yet, but it's coming to you in kindergarten, able to communicate, and it intuitively knows some of the basic rules of English. Yeah. But if you have a kid that was raised Spanish, speaking Spanish, how do you teach them this unintuitive shit? You know, there's really, like, that's why ESL kids are put in their own classes, because there's specialty teachers that help bring, it's like, it's a race. Mm-hmm. Because they're not trying to teach it in a way that they would normally. Like, if they got the kid from a very young age and were trying to teach it to be bilingual, they would take their time. Mm-hmm. But they're trying to hit the accelerator pedal on these kids so they can get caught up to their grade level. Mm-hmm. How do you do that? Good question. For fun or for business? Just for fun, man. Well, I don't know about fun. Like, really, like, my goal is I want to be able to read the Tao Te Ching in original Mandarin. And I want to be able to read it out loud and understand it. That would be really neat. That is my, like, long-term goal with it. I cannot read the Quran unless it's an English translation. I don't speak or read Arabic at all. That's it. Cha, cafe. In my language, words are pronounced in the way they are written, with some exceptions. Yeah. You think people should come out of public education being functionally fluent, at least in one other language? Oh, yeah. So you know what the fucked up thing is? And people don't know this. Being a child, and I'm talking like a toddler or that age, right? I don't know what age, like, what is it? What age is a toddler? 2, 3? There is a cheat code when your child is that age. At the age of like 1 and 2, your child's brain is developing rapidly, right? And it's the language center of your child's brain is lighting up. you can, like, if you start working with your child at 1 or 2 on a second or third even language, you will have a bilingual or trilingual child by the time they're 10. A child's mind is like a sponge for language. And it is so much easier for them during that time. Yeah, Jinx. Yeah, owe me a Coke. It's like a cheat code, bro. You don't even need the school to do it. But if you do it right, by 7 or 8, your child is at a minimum bilingual. And I think it absolutely changes that child's, it's not just gives them more opportunity. It changes their worldview. When you can communicate with people from a culture outside of your own, it broadens your mind. It broadens your view of the world. It humanizes people. So yeah, absolutely, man. And people don't know that about kids. It's like a fucking cheat code, bro. If you start early, start 2, 3 years old, teaching your kid 2 or 3 different other languages, they'll learn them. You'll be shocked at how quick they pick it up. No, I don't want to learn a fictitious language. Like, I want there to be a practical usage for anything that I learn, you know? As I learn Mandarin, I can communicate basic ideas with somebody who speaks Mandarin. That to me is functional, and it's part of why I want to learn. Like, what use would learning Klingon be for me? Like, once or twice a year when I go to a Comic-Con, I can talk to a couple of nerds in Klingon. Like, that doesn't really have utility in my life. We're doing that with our kids because my husband's native language is Tagalog. Yeah. I mean, you're doing the right thing. And that's also a beautiful way to keep your kids grounded in their family and their ancestry, right? Keep them in touch with where they're from and who their parents are, right? Like, there isn't enough Star Wars fans. Yeah, well, there's enough of that too. Especially now that you fucking kids have allowed them to ruin Star Wars. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You motherfuckers showed up and made hundreds of millions of dollars for that franchise, and they just pooped all over the movies. Pooped. And you guys were like, yay, Star Wars. These people just don't even fucking care, man. Trust me, I know. They fucked up that fucking movie franchise, bro. The strictness of our education is not the problem, Gringler Chunts, okay? I worked in education for 8 years. Let me tell you how we fix education, okay? This is how you fix it. You ready? Get your pen out and write it down. Expand schools, build more schools, and expand current schools to lower class sizes. Put a period on it, sign it into law, and you fixed the public education system. That's it. That really is the core problem in the public education system. When I was a kid, see, I have this really functional view of public education from the microcosm of how, like, the little town I was raised in, right? So the schools I went to in elementary school, middle school, and high school. Let's talk about elementary. In elementary school, I went to Millview Elementary for K through 6. that little country school in a pretty big school district, but an underfunded and heavily migrant school because it was out in the country. My first grade class had 15 children in it. Less than 20 kids. And that was true pretty much through my grade school. 15 to 20 kids was all I ever sat with in a class. So you set that aside. Later on in my life, I went to work for that same school district. I used to work at Melview Elementary School as a tech consultant. And when I would go into classrooms to set up computers or to fix a laptop or to help a teacher with some technology, a projector or something, I would walk into a classroom where there was one teacher and 40 children. 38 to 1 was the class average when I left education. So the class sizes have been functionally doubled or more than doubled since I was a kid. That is the problem. Everything else, every other problem, and there are other problems, trust me, is subsumed by the fact that there is absolutely no way that you can give a quality education to 40 unique individuals. $38 to 1.
Yeah. The only situations where that works is like something super general, like a PE class or something. Or
Yeah.
once you've gotten comfortable enough that like you go to college in the lecture hall.
Class sizes can go up as you get farther along in school because it makes sense. You have the foundation to be studious and absorb information in a class where you can't get. It's good to teach kids that you don't get personalized attention everywhere you go in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But
when they're little,
and I think little is a 6th grader.
Yeah.
A 7th grader. You're still little. When you're in that zone, you need a teacher that can pull you aside, give the class a task, and pull you aside and help you with something. If your grammar is bad, if your math is behind, you need a teacher that can care about you and pull you aside and has time to give you individual instruction to help you out. That doesn't exist.
The foundation is crucial for continuing to climb up. Like if you have a broken foundation, then as you try to climb up, it's going to be all like...
Well, that's the English second language problem too. Yeah. The foundation, if you live in America and you can't speak and read and write English, your foundation is broken. And the more broken it is, the less functional you are communicating in society and the less opportunity you're going to find for yourself. That's just the truth. Well, yeah, students are less skibbity in college. They're old. They're older. They're growing up. They're maturing at college age.
But, I mean, even then, some kids don't fit well into big colleges.
No.
Some kids would rather be in a tinier college.
Or a trade school, or the trades immediately, on the job trade training. Like, this idea that college is a one-size-fits-all glove for every human being needs to go away. Needs to go away, because there was so much pressure on me when I was a kid. College. And when I got there, you're expected to know. Now, you can change your major and shit, but that's typically like a tough decision, because you basically saying, like, I took some specialty classes that are just basically worth nothing but credits. They don't help me because I'm changing majors. It's like that thing dropped in your lap at 18. You have to know what you want to be doing for the next 70 years.
Well, like, a lot of kids now, like, with the college and the high school thing on the AP, they are going to specialty classes even earlier.
Well, I did that.
Yeah.
I had what they called AP classes. I had AP English, AP History, and AP Biology. Or AP Life Science, which was whatever. But I took all those AP
But
classes.
some kids take so much that where they're basically already at an associate's, and then they have to go right into the specialty classes.
See, I would have preferred that.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that. Part of the problem with me with college was I got there 18 years old. I still felt like a little high school kid. And I sat down in my first class and it was 100% remedial. I was like, wait a minute. I've read this book. I know this already. Why am I here? Why am I relearning basic algebra this year? Why am I doing that? Why am I taking an English course? Why am I learning the fundamentals of writing an essay? Why is that being gone over? Like, am I in the right place? Like, I feel like the remedial, what they call general ed classes need to be done away with. Or functionally done away with.
Like, do an aptitude test first, and then...
The aptitude test is your K through 12.
Yeah.
That's your aptitude test. We need to place kids based on how well they did in the public school system, right? When you come out of that, here are your options.
You think that makes more sense
100%.
than the application essay and SAT score and GPA shit?
Yes, 100%. It should all be aptitude based. Some kids are going to want to go direct, and in fact, it needs to start being aptitude based in middle school. Here's how I think public school should work. K through 6 should be standardized education with small class sizes so that kids can get individualized and you know what, it was even better when I was a kid too. I want to mention this, not to go too far aside. My mom used to be a teacher's aide, a volunteer. And it was common, even in a class size of like 18 to 1, for that teacher to have a teacher's aide who could talk to the kids, grade papers,
Or keep the other kids occupied while one kid got one-on-one.
That doesn't happen anymore. Teacher's aide doesn't exist anymore.
Or you might get one or two every now and then, like someone just graduated college for being a teacher and they have to do a little training, but...
Maybe, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
K through 6 is standardized, small class sizes, teacher's aides, individualized instruction for the kids who need it. Middle school starts to sort kids by aptitudes, right? So if you've got a kid that's a whiz at math, you're going to start giving him some more advanced math classes and
science classes.
well, exactly. STEM
Yeah.
is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
If a kid doesn't have that aptitude, but is really good at the reading, right? That was me. Reading, writing, reading comprehension, performance, those sorts of things. That kid is sorted more into a liberal arts type of middle school experience where their aptitudes are nurtured, right? And then when they get to high school, it becomes like mini trade school in my mind. I picked this idea up from Scandinavia.
Well, New York used to do it. They used to have like 3 separate types of high school diplomas based on the aptitudes. Like there was a diploma for people geared towards college, and there was...
This is more like at the high school age. I can't remember which country it is. It might be 2 of the 3 major Scandinavian countries, or 4 Scandinavian countries. It might be the Netherlands and Sweden or something. But high school is basically a trade school. You don't go to some generalized learn about general math classes in those places. You've already been sorted. Not sorted, because you have input as a kid. It's not like you're limited just because you're good at reading and writing and comprehension, so you have one choice. No, it's like, here's your choices. So your aptitude plus your interest becomes what your high school experience is about. You're already taking classes that are feeding that inner thing in you because it's like high school for me. If I had a critique of my high school experience, I found what I loved because of my high school. I was introduced to theater and acting and performance because of that high school, or at least because of my public school career. And my high school day was about 80%, in my opinion, worthless drudgery and 20% brilliant learning. Why? Why was a kid like me hammered through algebra, geometry, algebra 2,
Because the
pre-trig.
colleges had that as their standard.
Exactly. But I'm never, in a million years, you could have seen me at 6 years old, right? And if you would have asked my mom, what do you think your boy's going to be when he grows up? She probably would have said something generic like anything he wants to. But if you really drilled down and she started listing off some things about me by 6, mathematician and scientist wouldn't have been up there. Wouldn't have been. Just wouldn't have been. So why was I force-fed about, and I got to be honest with you, I remember 3 things about algebra, geometry, algebra 2, and pre-trig. Jack, diddly, and squat. I literally couldn't do a math problem, couldn't solve. I can do like an A plus 2 equals 3. I can solve for A. Okay, A is 1. I did it, all right? I know algebra. That's all I know. That's it. I know A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That's the Pythagorean theorem. Could I solve a Pythagorean algebraic equation? Fuck no.
You remember SOHCAHTOA?
Nope. I remember sine, cosine, and tangent. Is that sine, cosine?
That's a different.
SOHCAHTOA?
It's about like the angles and stuff with the signs. And
Oh,
stuff,
okay.
so.
No, I never did that.
Yeah, because so is like sine is the opposite plus the hypotenuse, and then cos, cosine, angle, and hypotenuse. Yeah.
I remember the term parabola. I remember having to use a graphing calculator to graph a parabola. Could I do it right now? Fuck no. Did I ever need to learn it? Fuck no. Did it broaden my mind? Fuck no. Did it avail me of any option one time in my life? No. It was a waste. It was a waste of a young mind to force feed me a bunch of geometry shit that I was never going to use. If I could erase all of the middle school and upper division math that I took, because I think everybody should have math in grade school. You know what I learned in grade school? Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Okay? I learned how to add, subtract, divide, multiply. That helps me make sure I get the right amount of eggs, right? That's practical. It's good to know that 1 plus 1 makes 2 things. That's practical. Do I need to know how to solve a complex quadratic equation? No. Am I ever going to need that? No. Did it broaden my mind or perspective? No. Did it avail me of any opportunity in my life? No.
Here's how my math teachers argued it to us. It's not that they think that you're going to use that math, but the purpose of the math class is to teach you how to deal with something like that.
Bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's what grade school is about, is what I would have told my math teacher. Grade school is about, I don't know how to do this. I have to socially adapt. I have to learn a new thing that's weird. That's what grade school is about. Middle school and high school should be about feeding and nurturing aptitude and interest.
If they would have told you, like, it's equivalent to learning how to do all the tech stuff for the first time. Doing that math class is preparing you to deal with, like, a program for your work that you don't understand.
Right. To be fair, if you're going into carpentry or building trades, you will need geometry, trig, some That's the point, though. I was never, by the time, like I said, if you would ask my mom at 6 years old, what is your boy going to do?
You weren't building nothing either.
No. He's not going to be an engineer. He's not going to be a mechanic. I was never going to do that. I never, ever had the interest to go into carpentry or building or engineering or design. It's just not my thing, right? Never has been my thing. So why did I spend years of my life force-feeding myself a bunch of useless information when if you could have, like I said, you took every high school math class that I took and replaced it with a high-level English course or a full year study of Shakespeare or Lord Byron or the classical Greek tragedies, right? I would have gotten so much more usable, worthwhile, and interesting information that I could have used in this life that I've lived out of those classes than I ever did learning fucking sine, cosine, and tangent, learning how to solve for an angle in a triangle. When am I ever going to need that? So you're telling me tomorrow something's going to blow up in my face and I'm going to be like, holy shit, how do I figure out exactly the degree of that triangle?
Here's my counterpoint, though. A lot of people don't like history either, and they aren't going to use history in their day-to-day life, but I feel like that's something that's a little bit more foundational.
Well, this is... Okay, so now we're going to get a little deeper into it. We are talking about the difference between STEM and the liberal arts, philosophy, right?
But would you agree that, like,
everybody needs it?
Yeah.
Everybody needs a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Not everybody needs a ton of that. That's just the way it is. It's not 50-50. It really isn't. STEM is great, and there are tons of people whose aptitude line up with it. But they can't just do STEM. If you are a person that does nothing but look at numbers on a page and you never read philosophy, you're not prepared to be a voter. You're not prepared to be a participant in a representative democracy at all. You're not prepared to, you know what I mean? Historical perspective is so lacking these days. And so, yeah.
Do you think it just, like, gets caught in the soup because they have to do so many other classes they're not interested in, too?
Like, how do you mean?
Like, oh, I hate history, and I hate math, and I hate writing, so history goes on the back burner.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, anybody that gets to high school that hates learning was failed in middle school and grade school. I don't mean to be a fucking nerd about it, but when I was in school, I loved being in school, bro. I just did. I mean, there were parts of it that were lame and boring and shit. I'm not saying it was like a party, but I loved going to school and doing okay at it. I was never like, well, I mean, I was really good, honestly. I'm trying to downplay myself. I was a really smart kid. I did straight A's all the way through grade school. I was the, like, whatever they called it, the valedictorian of my 8th grade class. I did the commencement speech. You know what I mean? I was a smart kid. I was book smart. I was good at that. If you weren't good at that, you had a whole different fucking experience than I did, right? But the cool thing about it was I was picked out as not exceptional. I hate gifted or talented. I hate GATE. Because GATE, like looking back on it, I was in a program called GATE. It's an acronym, GATE, Gifted and Talented Educated. And I was pulled out of normal classes in certain times of the day and put into these higher level classes that availed me of things that my classmates would have loved. It sucked. It felt like wrong.
Yeah, it's because I did a similar program called Summit in elementary school, and then it became High Cap in middle school.
Another
and
acronym.
It was a whole separate thing, so we learned stuff that the other kids didn't.
Yep. Paul, how do you feel about homeschooling? Listen, homeschooling is an incredibly complex topic. Here's how I feel about homeschooling. I don't think it should be legal for you to keep your kids out of school and fill their brain with a bunch of Bible shit 24/7. I think there should be a standard.
I feel like that all the guardrails have just been ripped off.
Exactly. Now, my sister is a hardcore evangelical Christian and has homeschooled every one of her 7 children. And don't take my word for it. How do you assess the general intelligence and well-suitedness of my nieces and nephews, baby, as a person that hasn't known them their whole lives and, came into the family more recently, how would you say they are in terms of speaking ability, general knowledge, and like, well-adjustedness
Yeah,
socially?
they're definitely well adjusted, and they're not stupid. They're not speaking below their developmental level. They're reading.
They're writing, they're engaged in things like
Yeah.
that.
But the difference is your sister went to school to be a teacher.
That's true. My sister is an accredited teacher and taught before she had her first child, and then she became a stay-at-home mom to homeschool her children.
It's hard to say, like, oh, every homeschooler has to be.
Well, I think there's a middle ground.
Yeah.
I think that there should be a lower certificate.
Like an associate's kind of level thing.
But it's entirely focused on giving you the nuts and bolts of child development and teaching and how to present a concept to a kid. You're just getting a fucking crash course. And at the end of it, you get a certificate or you get registered, and that says, hey, I'm a registered homeschooling parent.
Yeah. And that's something that could be distributed among multiple homeschoolers. Like,
100%.
You can keep your kid in homeschool even if you don't have it, as long as you can demonstrate that you're working with this person that does have it.
Yeah. Homeschool. There are rules about homeschool kids do have to demonstrate competency, but there's no like.
Well, like every year they take more and more regulations.
Exactly.
And
there's really nothing that they can do. So let's say you're homeschooling your child, and it takes the state competency exam and fails it. There's nothing they can do to you as a result of that. They can't go like, oh, you have to put your kid in school. They just
They're
noted.
just saying, like, we're not going to give you the piece of paper that says they're ready for college or whatever.
Right. It's ridiculous, and it's being deregulated. But when it's done correctly, it's a viable thing. Look, my sister made a choice. She went to college, and my sister, by the way, brilliant. She made it through her teaching degree in 2.5 years, from beginning to end. She took 22 credits a semester and blazed it, and was teaching her own class, lickety-split. Got pregnant, threw every bit of that accreditation away because she never wants to work for a school again, and focused her life on raising her children. She became a stay-at-home mother and the teacher of her children. And the results of that are impossible to argue. You could fucking, till you're blue in the face, talk about how it's bad to keep kids out of school. It's bad. If you, and I know it's anecdotal, I realize that my family and that group, especially my sister and her children, are exceptional. But it's also an example that homeschooling shouldn't be feared on the face of it. But it's complex.
But yeah, I think a little certification program that was like just focused on that, equivalent to maybe not a full associate's, but close to it in just terms of content.
Some sort of certification that you've been through some child psychology, child development, child sexual development. You know how to handle the things that kids are going to pick up socially. You know how to you know how important it is to socialize your kids alternatively if you're going to homeschool them. All of that you need to learn. Crash course, 100% specialized. If you make it through, you homeschool your kids legally. You got your certificate.
Or you take your kids to homeschool and you say, this is the person that has a certification that I'm sending them to.
I don't like that either, because that's just a kicking the door open to church schools again.
Yeah.
Wide, which already are a thing. I just don't think we need to grease the wheels of that.
Yeah.
Parents want to educate their own brood. I think they got the right. I do think there should be some standards that they're held to. But I do think they should have wide latitude as well in how they do it, so long as their kids keep up with other kids at the grade level and are being socialized outside of the home in some fashion.
Do you think, like, maybe the solution would be, like, to still test homeschooled kids, but if they are behind, like, redirect the parent to more classes or something?
a lot of homeschooling, let's see, I learned this through my sister. She's a member of a cooperative of other parents that homeschool. So her kids are not always just in her home.
Well, that's what I meant by like having working with one person with a certification.
But that's not regulated at all.
Yeah.
That's just probably because my sister is so well trained and knows how to do that. She's joined an organization of parents that are also homeschooling. So her kids get socialized. Her kids go to other places. Her kids are taught by other people and are given access to other concepts, teaching styles, right? And the result of it is my oldest niece started college at 16. She passed her high school SATs or whatever the equivalency is for a homeschooled kid at 16 years old and started going to community college at 16. She's 2 years into college and she's 17, almost 18. So what did she do? What was done wrong there? So clearly it works. Clearly. Well, the answer right now, do you know any homeschool adults is I don't know off the top of my head, but in 1 year I will. In 1 year, my eldest niece will be 18. And unless she fucking completely falls apart in the next 6 months, she's going to be one of the most brilliant people I know. One of the most brilliant adults I know.
She'd have to get brain damaged by something.
She'd have to get, she'd literally have to get lobotomized or something to change, to get off that path. She is radiantly brilliant. She's going to blow the doors off of whatever it is she settles on. Got Lil Wayne Lollipop. Dude, oh my God. We were talking to our mothers yesterday. And I've been doing so good. And your mom didn't know. And I can't remember who she was talking. Well, you know him. He's hot and cold. And I was like, is he yes and no? Is he in and he out? It's back now. So I woke up with Katy Perry in my head again. But it wasn't her fault. She didn't know.
Yeah, she was just talking about how, like, there's a mountain of drama between my cousins and my uncle.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, you know how he is. He's hot and cold. And I looked at you and I was like, no! It'd have been like a whole day.
That's the one thing I don't love about my mom's side of the family is they're very gossipy about each other.
Oh, well, you know my mom. She's Queen Metiche.
But
Every time
she doesn't gossip as much about the family. I feel like she's more focused on neighbors and shit.
You've heard my mom catching me up on all the cousin drama and the aunts and uncles and what Laney's doing and what this is doing and that is doing. My mom is the neighborhood metiche. But in a different, maybe it's a different way than your mom. Yeah. It's like gossip is not always the same thing. Yeah. But I definitely understand what you're saying.
My mom's side of the family, it's a whole saga for everyone.
Oh yeah. Dude, ask my mom. Yeah. Just ask my mom an innocuous question about one of my cousins and you'll get the whole dirge of their life. She loves it. There's something about, and you know what? I am my mother's son. I am nowhere near the level of metiche as my mother, but I'm a people person. I'm a people watcher. I'm interested in people's inner lives. I like to project my fucking psychology onto people. I have that in me. Okay? It's a strong impulse in me. I just think I have it way better under way better management than my mother. I think it rules a huge part of my mother. Another thing that I have, but I'm glad it's like a little less of a dose, is the morbidity. My mother is a grim scribe. She is literally like a sorrow teller. And she is obsessed with death.
Yeah, my mom's not that, but she did bring it up yesterday. You weren't listening when we did.
Oh, she brought up dying?
Yeah, because she was talking about her friend's nephew that had gotten murdered and shit.
My mother, I cannot tell you how many times I've had the conversation. Well, it's not really a conversation, that I have absorbed the information from my mother about how she wishes me to handle and oversee her death. And it's just like, it will be almost every time I see my mother. She will find a way to twist the conversation towards, well, someday I'm going to be dead. And here's what you got to do. And I understand where it comes from.
But she just needs to write a goddamn will and leave it at that.
But it's not even that. She does. The fact that for years now, number one, I used to be married to somebody who worked in the fields that told them straight out, you need a will. When I got divorced, I've continued to harp on this. You have told them about it now. And what has happened? Not a single word of that will has been written.
Because you can write a will, you can pre-plan your whole funeral with the funeral home and say, this is exactly what I want, and that way you just have to give a bill to my fucking kids when I die.
Dude, I remember one time my mom was like, PJ, you do that stage makeup, right? I was like, yeah, Mama. I learned how to do that. I was in high school. She's like, good. That's good. And I was like, well, I mean, it's good for theater and stuff that I know how to do my own bass and stuff. Yeah. She's like, no. When I die, PJ, I don't want you to let them funeral people do my makeup, because they ain't going to know how I do my makeup. So you are going to have to help out and make me look the way I'm. And I said, I stopped her. I was like 16. And I was like, Mom, I'm not doing anything to your corpse. Well, you know what, PJ? You might change your mind on that, because when my mama died, we let the people do her up. And when we saw her before the funeral, we washed her off and did her makeup. And I was like, well, Mama, good for you. But I hope they do your makeup right, because I ain't redoing your fucking makeup. But that's the type of conversation I've had with my mother 50,000 times in my life since I was little. And it's because my mom's mother, my mom was like an autumn baby. Or what do they call it? Like a...
Well, it was like a... They call it like a geriatric pregnancy when you're over 40.
Right, but there was a nicer term for it. But yes, my mother's mother was well into her 40s when she had my mother. So my mother had no parents at the age of 22 years old. I can't even imagine that. You know, I lost my grandmother at 22 and I was devastated. So I can't even imagine both my parents are dead and I'm 22. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, she didn't contextualize it and realize, like, well, I had my kids way younger than that, so it's going to be like another 20 years before we got to have the same conversation.
It comes from a place in her heart where she's trying to prepare us for something she was not prepared for.
Yeah.
And I get it from that perspective. I understand, and that's why I know it's her heart and not her morbidity, but the way she goes about it is so morbid. It's so awful, and it just drags the conversation down into the low reaches. Yeah, my mom, you know, like, it's determinism, like we were talking about last night. It's like my mother is a product of her upbringing 100%. My mother knew real food insecurity growing up. Real food insecurity. Not theoretical, not almost, not we're having to cut back. We're talking about where's the food coming from insecurity. You know, and so
We're just
that,
not getting to eat anything today.
or
period.
we're eating beans literally 7 days a week for the next month and a half because that's
Yeah.
what we got.
Yeah.
Is a big bag of pinto beans and water. So let's do it, right? So my mom knew what that was. I never experienced that level of that as a kid. I knew what hard times were. But my mother was determined, like a lot of parents, I think, to give her children a better life than she had, and she succeeded at that. She succeeded at that despite what her faults may be, but part of her desire for that has manifested in some pathology, I think, that is really not great.
Well, she gave you a weird relationship with food as a result.
I was basically like force fed, not force fed, like she didn't tie me down and shovel, but it was like there was a whole lot of like emotional guilt tripping over food. If I didn't like something, up to a certain age, I was just forced to eat it. It was like, well, you can fucking not like it, but you're going to sit there until your plate's empty. That's not uncommon. I was a picky eater as a little boy. I didn't like certain textures of things. I didn't like this. I didn't like that. And my mom wasn't about, and I don't think it's necessarily a good thing to tailor your whole fucking food style around a kid being picky. I get it. But my mom took it a little extreme. A picky child in her world was not acceptable. Because you don't know where that next meal is coming from, kid. So you better learn to eat that ham hock. You better learn to eat that meat on the bone. You better, you know what I mean? Suck it up and eat. And eat more, too. Double up.
Yeah, don't let anything go to waste.
Nothing goes to waste here. You are going to eat every bite of that. You are going to have more of it. Because I made extra so you could get a good, healthy body. You could have a good, healthy meal every day. I understand where that comes from. But the end result is I'm a man who only very recently confronted like huge issues that I have with food that made no sense, that had caused me to really rely on food in a super unhealthy way.
Like, just giving yourself permission to not finish something was huge.
Yeah.
You were able
When
to
you-
cut down your portions just because you're like, I don't have to finish this.
Right. If I don't finish this, I'm not wasting it. Nobody's going to judge me if I, wrap up half or 3/4 of this burrito and eat it later or throw it away even. Like, when I'm full, I stop. And sometimes, dude, I'm full off of like half of what you'd think it would make me full. But when I get that message, I do not keep shoveling shit in my mouth. I just don't. And that alone, right? Even if you set aside the other stuff that I've done to increase my health, that alone would have facilitated the weight loss that I've experienced up till this point and probably further. Just eating less, right? When and I got to tell you, I didn't even recognize that signal. I was not allowed to have that signal. And what happened was, it wasn't always this, you're going to eat that, you're going to eat that. When I got into my middle school years, 6th grade, 7th grade, a switch flipped in my head. And I was like, oh man, I love eating a big pile of food and then eating another big pile. It was like, okay, mom wants me to clean my plate. Fuck, I'll heap it and clean it twice. Dude, the amount of food I used to eat, unreal. Even not, set aside recent, right? Set aside like last year this time, what I would have ate at a typical meal. Way too much. Not even close to what I used to eat as a kid. And as a young like a teenager and in my 20s, bro.
And she just never said anything about you getting chunky.
Oh my God, she loved it.
Yeah.
She loved it. She would get it was from a good, but she would gaslight me, her and my sister. I would say some shit like, damn, I've gotten fat. And they would say, you are not fat. You carry your weight really well. You are husky. You're a big guy, but you are not fat. Stop saying that. It's like positive gaslighting.
when what you probably hope for in retrospect is like, honey, I think you've had enough to eat.
Well, that would have had to started way earlier. It was the opposite. And so when when it finally engaged in me, yeah, I'll clean 3 fucking plates. I'll eat everybody's. I'll finish yours and yours. Oh, you're full? Pass it. I'm going back for seconds. I'll finish yours up too. That's what it created in me, and that's why I'm so big. You know, I just eat, or I used to just eat, till I was sick. I would literally just feel sick in my body and in my mind. Just like, oh, ugh, ugh, you know, just like literally like, oh, I just want to go to bed after. And I still get that way, by the way. When I eat, I want to go lay down. But it was like 20,000 times worse. And I just fucking chased it.
Yeah. Because now it's like, oh, fuck, I ate too much having 3 slices of pizza.
Yeah. That's overeating for me, for sure. Having 3 big old slices of pizza. But it's not like any... Dude, I would eat a whole... I told a story the other day. I'll tell it again. I had this thing where I would sneak eat tons of calories, right? I had a thing where, like, I started work earlier and got home earlier than my ex-wife did. So there was like 2-3 hours in the afternoon where I'd get home. I was done for the day. I would order a whole family-size pizza from Papa John's, not Papa John's, Papa Murphy's, and I would bake it while she was gone. Bake the whole thing. Eat the whole family-size pizza, right? Throw away all the crap.
Bury it a little bit.
I mean, I didn't even really have to.
Yeah.
She never said anything about it. I wasn't really, but yeah, you know, if I thought that it was obvious, or I'd clean up the crumbs and stuff all the trash away, and then like 45 minutes later, she'd be calling, and I'd say like, hey, can you bring some Chipotle home? Hey, can you stop by Chipotle and bring me a burrito and some chips on the way home? After I just ate a family-sized pizza. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It makes me sick just to think about it. But something was broken in my brain. Some mechanism in my brain was really broken. Oh, coffee. I want coffee. I like the swirly look. I like to watch it mix. Bean coffee. Oh yeah, dude. I was at that point in my life, I was well on the track to that my 600-pound life situation. If I would have kept doing that,
you hit your max at that time, right?
The heaviest I ever weighed was 387 something pounds, and I have a feeling I breached 400 during that era at some point.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't weighing myself often because I wasn't even trying to lose weight, so I didn't want to know. But I remember I went to a doctor, and it was 100%, 387 pounds of unbelievable fat. These motherfuckers are crazy today. Crazy.
I know, but like as soon as you get up to swipe them,
I know, they're gone. They're like, hey.
here's my theory on what would be a better way to help people lose weight in general.
What's that?
Instead of the doctor telling you you need to lose weight, the doctor tells you you need to maintain your weight and stop gaining.
I've heard it. That's the thing, is going to the doctor, I was so adverse.
Yeah.
Because I knew.
But I just mean, like, in general, like, they have someone that's really overweight. Instead of saying you need to lose weight, they say, like, let's work on just getting you to not gain any more weight for a while, so you learn how to not overeat first.
Yeah.
Without the pressure of weight loss.
No, that makes sense.
Once you get to that point, then they talk more about, like, let's get you with a dietitian to fucking do whatever.
But yeah, no,
but I think the problem is a lot of people yo-yo because they're told you've been steadily gaining weight for the past few years. Now you got to turn it completely opposite and start losing weight.
Let me tell you the mechanism that killed every diet that I ever tried. I've lost a lot of weight. It is totally fine every once in a while for me to step outside of this diet and have a big ass pizza. Because I've lost a lot of weight and I deserve it. That's it. That, whatever that fucking dumbass mechanism is, killed every diet I ever tried. Everyone.
But I think that desire came from you maybe restricting yourself too much to where you were.
Yeah. It was a diet, not a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
This is a lifestyle change. Whatever this is, this health journey of mine, because it's not a diet. This is a lifestyle change. I have utterly changed my relationship with food, the amount that I eat, the type of it that I eat. I'm way more selective with what I put in my body.
Yeah, because there's recipes I've made where we used to just finish it in one night, and now we save it for leftovers.
Because I don't gorge myself ever.
Yeah.
And you'll see, sometimes I will eat, you'll make a bowl of something that looks like, yeah, that's about a meal. I'll eat half of it. And I'm done. Done.
We can split a box of mac and cheese now, when before you had to have like your own box or like a couple hot dogs with half a box to be happy.
God, you're so right. That's crazy. I don't do intermittent fasting, no.
But we also don't like really pressure ourselves to eat every 3 meals a day. Like there's a lot of days you just don't want breakfast.
I eat when I'm hungry.
Yeah.
That's it. And some days I'm just not all that fucking hungry and I don't worry about. Now, Amelia is really, and she's right to be. She makes sure I eat something.
Yeah, like at least a meal a day.
Because there are some days where I just wouldn't eat. That ain't good. But as far as like, I have this rigid thing where I will consume these calories at this, no. No. I eat when I'm hungry and I stop when I'm not. That's it. Get off of my wife. Get away from her, you little bastards. Who are you to paw at my wife? Thoughts on Moonrise Kingdom? Never watched it. I'm a fan of Wes Anderson, but it started to get a little much for me. The Wes Anderson thing, you know? And so I've kind of not watched his last couple of films, and I kind of don't want to. Kind of just don't want to. Feel like I'm kind of done with the Wes Anderson thing. I would like to see it evolve into another thing, because I think he's a very talented director, and he's a very visionary director as well. But I'm kind of tired. I think the Royal Tenenbaums was where it peaked, like that. Well, not peaked, but that's like where it started to ebb off after the Royal Tenenbaums, when we got to
Well, that's like almost all his movies.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, dude, Rushmore, Bottle Rocket, Royal Tenenbaums, The Life Aquatic. These are all just like really good movies. And then you've got like Darjeeling Limited and the Grand Budapest Hotel, and these movies are not good. And so I just stopped. Life Aquatic, dude, it's a good movie, but it's not great. It's good. It's good. It's funny. It's very Wes Anderson.
Is there any director where like you like one thing and nothing else that they ever made?
Look up Michael Bay for me.
Yeah. You want to see if there's one Michael
I
Bay?
think there is. I think because didn't Michael Bay do The Rock?
Let's see. So, filmography. Did you like Bad Boys?
Yes.
And then The Rock, you said.
Yes. So this is already. So I like a couple Michael Bay movies.
Armageddon.
Starts to get a little sus, but I do like Armageddon. Okay.
Pearl Harbor.
No.
Bad Boys 2.
No.
The Island.
No.
All the Transformers are given.
Garbage.
Pain and Gain.
Never even heard of it.
13 Hours of Secret Soldiers
No.
of Benghazi.
No.
6 Underground.
No.
Ambulance.
No.
Okay, so you like 3.
Right. So that doesn't.
So
that
that's about
doesn't
the
count.
same ratio as fucking Wes Anderson.
Yeah. That's true.
But you also like their early career. So I think you some directors just do better with less freedom, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a restriction on it because, well, like I think some directors they reach a level, like a status where they can just do whatever they want, and some of them just want to make the same film over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay, but
Some directors just need guardrails. It just is what it is.
maybe so. Maybe that is the case. Yeah, dude, like M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. I like several of his films. Even a recent one, Knock at the Cabin, was a legitimately good movie. Yeah. Wasn't great, but
some
it was
directors
good.
get a certain level of clout and a certain level of leeway, and they start producing and directing, and they just have so much freedom that they don't have anyone telling them.
Yeah.
They surround themselves with yes men, and not all of them have the right instincts for that. Like, not everyone's a Kubrick that just knows.
Yeah. What about who else? Who else is one of these? What about David Singer? Do I like because I feel like there might be one David Singer movie that I like.
Not the author. Director. There we go. Okay.
There is never going to be a new Kubrick.
Man, he doesn't even have a wiki. What the heck?
Brian. Oh, it's Brian Singer.
Brian Singer.
Sorry, David Singer, not Brian Singer. My bad.
I was gonna say, like, that's a niche director you
Yeah.
got there.
So give me his rundown.
Okay. Lion's Den.
Don't know it.
Public Access.
Don't know it.
The Usual Suspects.
Like it.
Apt Pupil.
Shitty movie.
X-Men 2000.
Garbage.
Star Trek Nemesis 2002.
Garbage.
He was just an actor in that one.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So X2. Superman Returns.
This might be the one.
Valkyrie 2008.
Garbage.
Jack the Giant Slayer 2013.
Garbage.
X-Men Days of Future
Garbage.
Past. X-Men Apocalypse.
Garbage.
Bohemian Rhapsody 2018.
Garbage.
I don't think you've ever watched it.
No, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so can't tell you.
Okay, but he was a director and producer of the TV show House. Did you like the TV show House?
Nope.
Would you like Battle Creek?
Nope.
Okay, so Bryan Singer's one that you just.
Bryan Singer. I like one movie he ever made. The Usual Suspects is a dope ass movie. Everything else on his roster is dog shit. Not a House fan as a surprise. I got bored with the procedural in House.
Yeah, it's like, everything is like they guess 5 different things and then they finally land on the right thing.
Yeah. And then there's a
It's
side
something
thing.
super rare.
And there's a side thing about him being addicted to pills.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the show. Okay. I'm gonna go get my ginger. Damn. Son of a bitch and Bumpus is.
I'd probably order some more because those cockroaches ain't gonna stop.
Oh, come on. Is this thing busted?
Maybe it is.
No. It works. That hurt. Got one. Okay. I just have to be. I have to be like water, not like wind. I'm going to thin out the hurt a little bit here. Oh, shit. Fucking fly pieces of shit.
Eyes are getting all.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a stoner. Got to throw in the spicy drops. Spicy drops. Woo! Oh, that feels so good. Hurts so good. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should. Baby, it hurts so good. Down, 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 down. Enjoying the flies? I'm enjoying sizzling the little bastards to death when I can catch them.
We've just done too much natural selection and they've gotten smarter.
True.
The ones that escaped the racket went on to have babies.
Mm-hmm.
The same instincts.
Yeah. Passed on their anti-racket genes. They can't dodge the salt pistols, though. I didn't order my salt pistol, but I need to. I need to just do it. Salt pistols and just like a big 100-pack of CO2 cartridges. That's all I need. I'd be dropping them. It's over. It's over for these flies when I upgrade. Do you think we'll achieve light speed travel once we gain an understanding of dark energy? My dude?
You're not following the dark energy news.
Bro, you were asking the wrong motherfucker about that shit, okay? Yeah, I have no clue, bro. From what I understand, traveling beyond the speed of light, or even at the speed of light, is functionally impossible.
Unless we come up with a totally different thing.
Right. Unless we somehow find a way to manipulate space-time around an object, then our speed is going to be limited by propulsion. Now, an understanding of dark energy or dark matter might avail us of some way around that physical limitation. But as far as I know, it stands, even theoretically at this point. One of the cool things that I remember seeing was a ship that, a concept, obviously, for a ship that basically created a small black hole at the nose of the craft that pulled it, right, and maintained this black hole. So the black hole is constantly pulling, but it's maintained, like there's a barrier between the created small black hole and the craft. And so the craft is
So
just,
it's like being pulled by the gravity of it.
it's being pulled by the gravity of the black hole, but because the black hole is kept at a functional distance, it can never consume it. And so you're using that insane
problem
gravity.
with that, I think, is it's just gonna pull a bunch of asteroids and shit while you're going along.
Maybe it would, yeah.
Because, yeah, space isn't empty. There's a lot of emptiness in it. So, like, you pass an asteroid, it's gonna go like, shoo.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it sucks something up, it gets too powerful, and then it would suck in the ship too.
Right. There's like a solar sail idea where they create these huge solar sails like the size of 10 football fields that you unfurl in front of an object, and those solar sails collect the photonic light emanating off of the nearby star, and the momentum of that collection carries you beyond propulsive limits, theoretically speaking. But it's my understanding that this solar sail would have to be enormous, and the ship it was pulling would have to be tiny.
And the issue with the sail is the same thing, like where shit can break it super easily.
Yes. Right. I mean, a micrometeor or something rips it, you're fucking done.
Yeah. I don't know. I think super expansive space travel is something that's going to stay in the realm of sci-fi, but maybe I'm wrong. But I just feel like we've hit too many limits.
I think it'll happen, but I don't think it'll be us traveling faster than light. I think it'll be Frank Herbert. I think it'll be traveling without moving. So I think that if we can understand the fundamental laws of reality that allow quantum entanglement to happen, that unlocks faster than light communication. FTL communication is unlocked. It's theoretically possible already. We know that if we have a paired set of electrons and we separate them, no matter what the distance is, they remain paired. Now whatever principle is behind that, if we can functionally exploit that, that may allow us to create wormholes or functionally fold space, or do it, like I said, traveling without moving. Propulsion no longer becomes an issue.
Except to just get to the space where it's safe
Right.
to do that.
Get out. But even then, by that time, we're not building anything on the planet and then rocketing it up. We're building everything in orbit. So you don't really need the propulsion. If the vehicle is being moved without moving, if it's going to get to a...
But how does it land without propulsion is the question.
Well, I mean, maybe this type, because if you think about it, this type of you're talking about almost teleportation, quantum teleportation, right? So is it mathematically precise enough to just, you start on a landing pad and zoom, you appear on a landing pad? I mean,
Yeah.
right? It's like a coordinate in space, if you think about it. Even if, so let's say I have a landing.
But everything rotates.
Right, that's a calculation. That's a quantum calculation. Knowing the relative position of everything at the time of travel will be part of the calculation that has to be done. But it's an immense calculation that we probably couldn't handle now, but quantum computing unlocks that, right? It's like I've got a platform orbiting Mars, and I'm in a travel vehicle, and I want to go to this, I want to go to our next nearest neighbor, which is what, again, Sirius A or whatever. A huge calculation is done at the moment of travel that gives the relative position across space-time of both the pad that I'm on and the position, the exact spatial coordinates of the position of the pad I'm going to. That calculation is done. Whatever quantum strangeness is triggered, I'm unmade here and remade there. And for me, it's like a blink.
But that raises all the problems of like, when you're reconstituted, are you the same thing?
Right. But it won't matter. As long as there's not what Michael Crichton called transcription errors. If you read the book Timeline, it's about this. It's about it's more about time travel or functional quantum time travel. But the principle is the same. You are destroyed in our world and recreated in this alternate timeline. And the question is, are you the same person when you get there? And this owner of this big tech company swears up and down that the answer is yes. It's functionally, yes, functionally you die, but it's for a micro nanosecond. Functionally in your brain, you never die because it's a moment that happens and then you're here. You're one place and you're the next. So this CEO says, it's death, but it isn't death. You're going to be back here and you're going to be the same person that left here. And you won't know the difference, right? But what it comes to find out is the process isn't entirely correct. And over multiple trips back, you start to get more and more what they call transcription errors, where you're not put together exactly right. And that would be something that would be a problem in the nascent years of this technology. But the answer is more technology, right? The answer is functionally finding a way around that problem. If it's a mathematical problem, then it can be mathematically solved. It can be...
Well, that's basically like how cancers happen. The transcription errors.
Yeah. Well, that's another. What if no alien can overcome the speed of light to meet one another? Well, that's another theory as to why.
The great filter.
Right, the great filter. That's why the Drake equation says that the universe functionally should be teeming with life, but we've never seen any. Well, the reason for that could be just immense distances, and maybe light speed is a true hard physical barrier. And so...
And maybe there's just no way to harness anything to even get close to light speed.
Yeah. You know? Or maybe some of the technology that it would take to create these kind of wormholes ends up blowing up in the face of everybody that tries to touch it because it's just too immense of a power for you to harness and fuck with, even at a micro level. So.
It just swallows your whole planet or some shit.
Yep.
Do you buy any of the alien encounters or no?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do.
You think some aliens have actually made it here?
I don't know that they're necessarily aliens. Here's what I think. I think extra-dimensional beings are true. I think that's real. I think that there might be beings that exist on a plane of existence that only includes our third dimension as a flat plane.
So you think that they're not traveling from far away, they're just traveling like from above us effectively.
Maybe they're using something else as a conduit, right? They're using psychedelic experience as a conduit or some function of the human mind that allows us to tap in. You see, I believe that. Like, that's why I treat mushrooms like a sacrament, because I believe that mushrooms are letting you pierce the veil, if however minorly, and see things that your brain typically doesn't perceive. And
So you think that there's like a dimension where they effectively have the spice?
maybe, I don't know. I mean, maybe the fourth dimension doesn't even need that. Maybe a fourth dimensional being just is in our third dimensional reality, and they interact with us as a utility. Maybe they use this dimension functionally up there, and at some points, our perception allows us to perceive some of their comings and goings. Now, do I believe that people are being taken and like rectally probed and shit? Probably not. Do I believe I had an experience I can't fucking explain? You know? And I don't know that I believe that it was little gray men from Mars what done it. But you know, I think there's a lot we don't understand about reality. We are insanely limited by our perceptions. Think Bigfoot sightings are credible? Nah, probably not. I mean, there are definitely like tracts of woods and shit on the planet that, you know, people aren't observing all that often. Maybe human beings haven't been to in thousands of years. But this idea that like some big species like that could exist in those small pockets, completely undocumented by modern science, it just starts to get less and less probable as time goes on, you know. But once again, maybe what we're calling Bigfoot sightings are something extra dimensional, you know. Maybe that's a commonality. Bigfoot is real. Behold. I'm gonna get another fly here in a minute. They're just chilling on that chair like it's the fucking sweetest fucking nectar in the world. There's dog shit fucking sprinkled all around, but they're just that chair. They love this chair. They want to be on that chair. Jealous of you having that thickness in your hair at that age. Bro, don't be that jealous. It's the only genetic thing I got that was worth a shit, bro. There ain't no reason to be jealous, bro. You're probably way better off than me, dude. I'd take baldness and a heart that isn't gonna fucking give out by the time I'm 55. I'd take that. Zzz, zzz. Get your little fly ass out of here. Get it. Your eating habits and genetics are two different things. I don't know who said any different, brother, but thanks for that. Fuck it. Are you a random factoid bot? Are you a rando factoid bot? I really do think that like a lot of the people that do these random factoids are bots that they're training to like listen to streamers and make quote unquote relative comments. Like I don't know that chili side dish actually exists. You blamed your heart on genetics. Yeah, that's because I have a genetic history of heart failure. And no, before you ask, it had nothing to do with obesity. So, that's what you meant. Yeah. That's what you meant. You're a bot, bro. Quit being an NPC. Wake up a little bit, dude. Your dialogue tree is real thin. Can't do this whole work thing anymore. Okay. Well, you're probably gonna have a rough time, but it is your choice, man. You can do or not do whatever the fuck you want. Bebo Fett. Dude, I gotta go blow my nose. Fucking shit is driving me fucking insane. Firefly. Silver bar. Busy sidewalks, city sidewalks. Meeting smile after smile. In the air, there's a feeling of Christmas. Maybe if I sing Christmas songs, it'll get colder. I don't do drug recommendations, bro. You gotta have to find some other fucking idiot to give you advice on what you put in your body. You don't, if your mind ain't made up on your own, you probably ought not put it in your body. How's that? Oh, Lord have. Lord have. Flip mode squad here to drop bombs. Against on odds. Still remain dogs. Lord have. Lord have, dude. People don't even talk about Lord have no more. Lord have from the flip mode squad, though. That voice, crazy. Land on it, you fucks. Land on it. Just don't learn, do you? You motherfuckers never learn. Gotcha, bitch. Too slow. I ain't trying to have a drug conversation right now. I literally feel like the last 3 streams I've talked about drugs that I've done and what I did. I'm not doing it again. You can go watch any stream that came before this, and you're probably gonna hear it. I'm just sick of the topic, dude. People just cycle through it right now. I'm not a your drug guru guy, okay? Like, I didn't know what I was doing when I tried drugs. I made the decision what I wanted to put in my body, and I did it. And I've talked about it. I'm not ashamed of it, but it's just like, I'm not gonna be your fucking like roadmap guide and have you like running around in the world pretending that you know what you're fucking doing. Because Paul's ego said he dropped a big fucking dose of acid one time or some shit. No, fuck that. I'm not your guru. I don't think you should have a guru, honestly. I think you really, like, you're going to put some shit in your body, go for it, but prepare yourself and take responsibility for it. I'm just tired of doing it, dude. It's a trope that an old stonery hippie guy like me is going to sit and smoke doobies and talk about drugs all day, but like I like to talk about other fucking shit sometimes, yo. Like drugs are fun and interesting every once in a while, but there are other things to talk about, I'm sure. Fuckers. Nope. I don't decorate for holidays and shit. It's just ain't my thing. Went and got a haircut at a place that sold vinyl. That's cool. I like those like weird combo businesses, you know? There was a burger place. Well, there was. I think it still exists down in the Tower District here in Fresno called Do Ham Chai back in the day. It was donuts, hamburgers, and Chinese food, and it was like a late night snack spot. It's like, I don't know how you combine those three things, but cool for you. Got him. Oh, that feels good. It's like 3 down today. I'm feeling good. I get my numbers back up. Whatever you are, oh, big old horse flies. Hell yes. Oh, I would have loved to get both of those. That would have been great. I think I'm the only one who misses the dine-in Pizza Hut. No, you ain't. Pizza Hut used to be baller. Pizza Hut had an arcade in it, had a salad bar in it. Dude, no, it was legit. Like, who even goes into a Pizza Hut now? I don't even know. I don't even know who eats Pizza Hut anymore, to be honest with you. There's so many better options in the world. Like, even if you're just in the mood for some gut bucket pizza, like, you know what I mean? There's better options at fucking Pizza Hut. But back in the day, Pizza Hut was the GOAT.
I mean, we've gotten Pizza Hut recently, and it was alright.
Did we?
Yeah, remember, like when you very first tried the jalapeno and pineapple, we got.
Oh yeah,
Pizza
that's
Hut.
right. Yeah. They're all right, I guess. But the dine-in experience at Pizza Hut used to be legit. And now I would never like go sit in a. There's like one pizza parlor in this town that I know is good, that I would take and Amelia and sit down in because I know it's good. It's called Pizza and Pipes. They don't do takeout. It's just a totally like internal experience. You got fleas? Yeah, dude. No, I just have like a lot of hair and it feels really good. It's not even that my scalp itches. It just feels good to like move the follicles around on it because there's a lot of weight. Like, if you think about it, all the weight of all of that is just like pulling down on my hair follicles all day, and it just feels really nice to like massage your scalp and move those hairs around a little bit. Lift it up here, lift it up back there, and whiz it around a little bit. Because it's just like, I don't know, man. Your hair follicles get like used to having all that pressure on them 24/7, and it just feels nice. I like it.
You just got thick ass hair.
I do. It's thick as fuck. But yeah, no, Pizza Hut in the 80s and 90s. Arcade in the back. Salad bar for mom if she was watching her waist. Ordered up a pizza that was served right up, you know, with a thing, and you scoop one out. And it's really good, too. Like, their thick crust pizza used to be like really doughy and crispy at the edges and like just really like different from every other pizza. It was really like fried dough crust almost. Really oily, but good. You go there, you get the pizza, your mom gives you, you know, $2-3. You go put the dollars in the quarter changer, go into the arcade, you know, you bust down some Street Fighter 2, some Simpsons action game, some X-Men action game, play a couple rounds of the Terminator shooter game, Terminator 2 game with the light guns, you know, and then you're done, you know, then you go home. Shit was bumping. Guys salivating. Bro, are you here to just like do drive-by skibbity shit? Is that why you came up in here? Because you need some negative attention? Because I ain't seen a single fucking... Okay, fair enough. At least, hey, at least you know. Just drive-by attention. Just like, I need somebody to notice me out in the world. Well, you were noticed. See you next alt, brother.
I've been tearing myself up lately.
On what?
Oh, like, this is a burn from the oven. This is a burn from oil.
Baby. I have to get you some gloves. I like pizza, but I just give me a store-bought one instead of ordering one for $12.
Yeah, I know there's like a lot of grocery stores that just have it. Like, basically, it's like a Papa Murphy's, but like from the store.
Yeah, those are all right. Those are usually fine. Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, like, I'm not a pizza snob or nothing. You know?
Yeah. I feel like there's less grocery stores that do that kind of thing now, though.
Yeah.
They
No, you're
have
probably
their
right.
whole kitchen in the back or whatever.
Whoa.
What?
My watch matches my hair tie.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's cool. What does skibbity even mean? Why are you asking an old ass man what something that young fucking bucks are running around yelling at each other means? That make any sense in your world, bro? I know what it means in my world. It means in my world that it's become synonymous with squeaker. That's what we used to call what I'm talking about when I say skibbities back in the day, a squeaker. We call them that because they would scream the N-word into the Xbox 360 headset mic, but their voices were breaking. So they would go, "You're a big N-word," you know what I mean? So we call them squeakers. Those people, I now call them skibbities. They've got broccoli tops and mullets, and they run around like, I don't know, little anime nightmares on the world. Yeah. Do you like Neil deGrasse Tyson? I gotta be honest with you, I don't.
He's a little too autistic for you, I think.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him. I think you're right. I think he might be just a touch too autistic for me.
Too literal, too high and mighty.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him all. I don't like him. Sick of his ass. Kinda pompous. Bro, Hitler was kinda fucking racist. Pretty sure if you look up pomposity in the dictionary, Neil deGrasse is right there, smiling.
Like, I feel like there's just something about him where he talks down rather than trying to...
Well, he's a science educator.
Yeah.
So he's used to talking to children.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to talk to adults as a result. So he talks to
There's other
adults.
similar guys like him that I feel like dumb it down, but in a way that's not saying you're dumb.
Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
Old school Richard Dawkins. Before he became a weird anti-trans person.
It was his stroke, man.
Cultural Christian.
That's where I stand. It was his little stroke.
Yeah,
thing.
his mini stroke broke his brain.
Yeah.
Hitchens. Well, Hitchens wasn't great at dumbing things down. He was great at elevating things. So maybe the opposite of Hitchens. No, but Dawkins really was. I read a couple of Dawkins books. I read The Selfish Gene, and I read The God Delusion.
Okay. You didn't read The Blind Watchmaker?
I didn't read The Blind Watchmaker, no. I've read excerpts from The Blind Watchmaker, but I read The Selfish Gene, and then I read, I had the like big hardcover, first edition of The God Delusion. And I really think those books were really good at taking a very complex topic and boiling them down to understandable language.
He's very good at analogies.
Yeah. That's what makes it good. Like, one of my favorite things about Dawkins is his analogies. Mount Improbable is my favorite one, right? It's like when you're standing at the base of a sheer cliff and looking up, imagining that leap is like some people imagine the leap of evolution. There's no way we could get from a protozoa to a grizzly bear. How did that happen? But the truth of the matter is, if you want to get to the top of that cliff without all kinds of strange implements to help you up, there's a path that slowly winds its way up the back of Mount Improbable, and that's evolution. Looking at it from the bottom of the cliff, of course you're filled with wonder because the amount of years it took for that cliff to exist, right? He's great at that. He also is great at, like, children are wired to believe everything their parents tell them. If you tell your child, don't go by the river alone, there are crocodiles that will eat you. If the child can't be skeptical about that, otherwise the child dies, right? I use that a lot. So he was really good at analogy, and analogy is a good way of, like, it's a misnomer kind of, but dumbing things down. Yeah. Bringing the discourse out of academia and into more everyman level, right? Analogies are great for that.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, it just feels like he's like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah, there's just something about him. I just don't like him. I think that his public persona is fake as fuck. I'm not saying I think he's some asshole in real life. I just think there's so much pretense to the way he is. I never would have pegged it, but I think you're right. I think maybe it's just a little too tistic for me. There's too much pretense in the way he presents himself. Too much pomposity.
Too much, like, shutting things down.
Yeah, shutting things down and pretending he's the fucking guy to talk about every concept ever. It's like, if you watch him in broader interviews where they step outside of astrophysics and shit, he knows everything about that too. He's one of those guys. He's a know-it-all kind of guy. And I'm not trying to take away his degrees or his expertise. I'm just saying.
Well, the reason why I brought up autism is his whole scandal about touching that woman's tattoo, I think, is a very autistic thing to do.
Maybe you're right, yeah. I mean, I don't even know, though, like, I don't know what happened in that exchange, or if that was just overblown cancel culture shit. But you're right. Not knowing what a personal boundary is personal space and encroaching or making a social faux pas that you don't intend. That is something that is typified by some people with autism, right? Maybe he is. I don't know. I've never thought of it that way, though. I've always just been like, you know what? I'm kind of sick of this dude. I'm kind of sick of the way he centers himself at the center of everything he talks about, and how there's not a single topic he can't pontificate about.
Or he'll take some fiction. It's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
And it's like, well, duh. It's fiction. The Adam Friedland interview shows his personality pretty well. He's kind of up his own ass. Yeah, I mean, that's another way of putting it, yeah. He's huffing his own farts 24/7. And there are a lot of people that are academically way beyond him that don't hold themselves that way. They don't have to. That's Taoism. It's like, maybe that's what puts me off about him. It's like Taoism is very explicit about how the master, talking about the Taoist master, never takes credit for his work once it's done. He allows the people that helped him along the way to take that credit. He doesn't seek that credit because it doesn't need it. He didn't do what he did out of a desire to have other people fawn over him. He didn't do what he did to rub in everyone's face his achievement. The Tao says that is why it says the man who seeks the approval of others and seeks credit for his deeds will never make anything that lasts. That's so fucking deep and so true. And I really think that some element of that is where Neil deGrasse transgresses for me and becomes kind of unlistenable. Dirty deep from the salty sea. You know, sweet boy. Get all woked up this molded. You'll get yourself woked up this molded. You little old man, you. Little old man.
I forgot to give you a bath yesterday.
Yeah, see, I don't want to get in an argument with me. Like, I'm not trying to tell you don't watch Neil deGrasse. People take shit the wrong way. The question at hand was, do you like Neil deGrasse? The answer was no, and I'm telling you why.
He puts you off in a variety
He
of
puts
ways.
me off. You can love the dude's every fucking syllable out of his mouth. You can worship at his feet. I don't give a fuck what you think.
It's just like, you know, you like certain directors and you don't like certain directors,
Right.
like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
You're not saying that, like, no one should ever like Transformers or whatever.
Right. Well, I'm sure as you were listing off movies and I was going dog shit, somebody was like, there were probably multiple people in this couple hundred people going like, hey, I kind of like that movie, right? That wasn't me telling you you can't like a movie because I don't like it. People, where's the disconnect in that, do you think?
I don't know.
Because it exists, right?
Yeah.
Clearly it exists. Your opinion is taken as like, you're telling me how I feel about it? No, I'm telling you how I feel about it.
Yeah, because it'll happen in other things too. Like when you're talking about that one DFF episode you did where you said you didn't like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, all the comments were like, you just don't understand It's Always Sunny. It's like, you just don't like it.
Yeah, I don't. I get that about, what's another show that was like that? Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
Dude, you know how many people try to push that fucking show down my throat? Trailer Park Boys. You gotta watch Trailer Park Boys. You gotta watch Trailer Park Boys. You gotta watch. And dude, I watched it, and it's just I don't get it, dude. It's stoner humor. It's just not me. I don't vibe with it. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I don't like it. Always Sunny, same thing. I've seen clips from it. Oh, that's kind of funny. But I've watched a couple episodes of the show over the years, and it just ate my thing. That doesn't mean you can't like it. That doesn't mean you can't buy the t-shirt and the ball cap and have the poster and name yourself after a meme from it and have an avatar and have a PFP of it and name yourself it in every video game. I don't care, bro. Good on you. I'm glad you found something you love. I thought it sucked donkey dick. Welcome to humanity.
It's art.
Yeah, it's art. Yeah.
Some people just rub you the wrong way. Some concepts rub you the wrong way. It is what it is.
What do you think of David Lynch, specifically the Twin Peaks series? David Lynch is a great example of what we're talking about. David Lynch is one of the most hostile directors to his audience that's ever existed. And I don't think it's open hostility, but he's hostile to the expectations and desires of his audience in a way that most directors don't ever touch. He doesn't want you to feel comfortable watching his shit ever.
Yeah. And even with David Lynch, the third season of Twin Peaks It was too much.
Twin Peaks: The Return was too much for us. We just ejected about halfway through.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't mean I hate David Lynch. Doesn't mean I think he sucks now. Just means that that part of his work just really didn't fucking hit with me. Right?
It was too Lynch.
But Twin Peaks, the original series, Firewalk with Me, beautiful. We loved it.
Blue Velvet? No, not Blue Velvet.
Well, I've seen Blue Velvet. I like Blue Velvet. We can watch it. I don't know if you've seen it, but we watched Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I think we did watch Blue Velvet. I was just thinking it was the wrong name, but if it's the right name,
Yeah,
I'm thinking of the right one.
You've never gotten mad when somebody has dissed a movie you like? Getting mad is different from treating it like... It's different. Yeah, we can clash. We can argue. But do I really get mad? Usually not. Really mad. Like, really like, oh, you're fucking hurting me.
Yeah, like, because we've had that in our personal lives. There's shows I like that you don't give a fuck about. There's movies you like that I just was like, meh.
Yeah, there's shit that you're really into and I'm ambivalent on, and and vice versa, right? We don't follow each other around doing all the same shit, enjoying the same art, and having the same fucking opinion about every fucking thing. Just like any human being.
But, you know, you're a performer, so, like, your arguments about media on the show are for the purpose of performing.
That's part of the disconnect from people, is people don't understand.
Like when you're having a whole thing telling TJ he's a dumbass for not liking Twin Peaks, that's just a thing.
I'm allowing myself to go hyperbolic in the argument because I know it's going to be funny to grill TJ in a certain way, and it's an environment where it's appropriate for me to be hyper defensive of my opinion. Mm-hmm. Right? We're doing it for the funsies. Right? But in my personal life, I'm never going to rag you out because you like the Transformers movie.
Yeah, both of our moms have weird taste in movies.
Awful.
I'm not going to tell her that she's dumb for liking a movie.
I won't talk shit on your mom, but my mom has awful taste in movies. Oh my God, she'll watch the worst shit. My favorite shit. I came back to visit. I hadn't seen my mom in probably like 4 or 5 years. Came back to visit. One of the first things we did, she was like, "You want to watch a movie, Peaches?" And I was like, "All right." So you're scrolling through, and she lands on this movie, Knowing, with Nick Cage, which is like a horrible movie. It's about 9/11, and or like that, right? He sees disasters before they happen, and whatever. It was garbage. I got to the end of that movie, and I was just sitting there with like a migraine, with my eyes closed, like, and I didn't even have a chance to. I was gonna open my mouth and say, "Well, that was dog shit." And my mom was like, "That was awesome," and I was like, "I loved that. That was I loved that movie. I loved that Nick Cage fella, and I love that. That was just a good movie." And my stepdad was like, "Yeah, that was a good movie. You're right." And I was like,
but you didn't say, like,
I wasn't like, "You two are a bunch of boomer retards. You suck and you suck. If you think that movie was good, you're a retard." I didn't. I was just like, all right. If that was a movie, I think that's what I said. That was a movie. And say what you want about Knowing. It is a movie. You can't take that from it. It's a movie. Things happen in it. Kinda. There's a character or two in there somewhere that they do things. They have maybe even motivations. So it's a movie. It's a movie. Oh, with my mom, and with a lot of people, I go along with it. Sometimes you got to choosing your battles. Maybe that's the disconnect.
Yeah.
That is it, right? Maybe that's part of it. You know, I take it for granted that other people know the wisdom of choosing your battles, but maybe some people don't. Or maybe the internet has created an environment where people don't have to learn how to choose their battles. Everything can be a battleground you're willing to die on, right?
And also, whoever you're a fan of, they don't care whether you defend them in your private life or not. Neil deGrasse isn't going to pat you on your head if you
No.
convince Paul that he's actually cool.
Yeah, you running like unofficial PR for another fucking person is really kind of cringe in any capacity. I mean, I guess if they're being like completely and utterly smeared or slandered in the media and like, yeah, taking their back is okay. But like this idea that you've got to be out there policing the mentions for anybody that doesn't like your dude and shouting them down, I don't even know where that comes from, bro. Well, it's about conformity. It's about the comfort that comes with conformity. If everybody agrees with you, then you're correct, ultimately correct, right? Conformity is very seductive. And you see it across wide social groups. I mean, why do you think there's so many religious people? There's an unknowable equation that nobody's going to solve. But I have this dude over here that runs this organization that claims to have solved it. Mm-hmm. And once I join it, I'm surrounded by people who just go like, yep, that's the truth. And once I bring myself to believe it, now it feels good.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like being transgressive.
Right.
They don't like pushing super hard against the grain. And
well, that's evolutionary. Yeah. You see that in primates, right? Yeah. Transgression in primate world means ostracization. It means it here. Yeah. Ostracization, otherization.
But when you're, a monkey, you can't really afford to be ostracized to that level because then
when you're a human, you can't afford it either. Yeah. Human beings are social creatures just like chimps. Yeah. And when they are otherized to the point of solitude, they go crazy. The more solitude, the more crazy. So yeah, you're absolutely right, baby. Like a human being cannot exist outside of the tribe, the group.
And when they feel like they're being told something they didn't think is transgressive, they want to make it so that their position is...
You will see monkeys transgress social norms and stuff, right? And the other, like chimps, who are our closest cousins on the planet right now.
D, come on. D.
Come on.
Hey. You leave that doggy alone.
You guys are just friends now, and he don't bark at you, ever. Oh, asshole. Such a little...
He's a little bully.
He is. He's a little bully. Don't be a bully. That dog could eat your lunch and ask for seconds. What was I talking about again? Oh, in primates, when there's a social faux pas, the other primates who've witnessed it, their faces light up and it's a rictus grin is what they call it. Their eyes blow wide open and their mouths go. It's like, and human beings, we may not react exactly that same way, but that impetus is in us. When we see somebody doing something against us, against what we think should be done, and the whole group does it, right? There's so much value in human society and transgressiveness. Going against the grain, being like I talk to Destiny about it and I bring it up all the time, being an irritation, an agent of irritation, being a little bit of coarseness in the discourse, a little bit of sand in the wash, right? There is so much social benefit to that, but nobody wants to admit it because it's transgressive. It's not what you're supposed to say. It's not how you're supposed to feel. Well, I do.
If your favorite show, public figure, whatever, is getting pooped on, you don't have to, you're not their PR department.
No. Running free PR for them is dumb. Man, learn to let things pass through you and over you and around you. Some things are like that's, remain at the center of the circle, like the Tao says. Stop putting your expectations onto other people. The Tao says, can you lead men without imposing your will on them? By allowing them to do what's right and facilitating it, right? That's what a master does in Taoism. Can you let go of your expectations of other people and accept them as they are in the moment? Can you let go of your future expectations for people? That's a tough one. Can you love and cherish and appreciate and respect a person now for what they are without thinking about how they're going to change or how you'd like them to change or how they were? Can you love them now? Can you accept them now? Can you live most of your life now?
That's one of the biggest problems in human relationships is trying to change people.
It's a nightmare. If you honestly go into a relationship with the idea that I love this person or I'm attracted to this person, but something about them sucks and I'm going to have to change that, you're fucked. Love doesn't do that. Children don't do that. That's another big one. People will go like, like the Band-Aid baby, I think is what they call it, right? Mm-hmm. Relationship is fucked up. You know what'll bring us together? Let's pop out a kid. Wrong idea. Wrong idea. Bad idea.
Even friendships, too. Like, I think we've both been guilty of entering a friendship and thinking, oh, they'll change.
Oh, the story of my life. Most of my early friendships were, it wasn't even they'll change. This is a different aspect of it, but it's rooted in the same problem of expectation and trying to impose your expectation on other human beings and other things in nature, right? Just in general, right? I thought that if I was a good guy to these guys, like I want to be to people, or these people, my friends, if I was a good guy to my friends, like I want to be, that when I need a good guy, there's going to be 5 of them there. I was wrong. I don't even think my friends were bad people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I gave so freely and openly of myself that they came to almost, like when you give people, when you're a people pleaser, this is kind of a weird psychological truth. When you're a people pleaser, if you go too far with that, you would think you would just continue to engender goodwill from people, but at a certain point, people start to resent you for your kindness.
See that little yellow butt over there?
Is there a yellow butt? Where?
Not a butter butt, but he's just yellow all over.
Oh, I don't see him.
He's right by the base of the tree.
By the base.
Eating little things off the ground.
Oh, a finch.
Just a little yellow boy.
He a finch. He a finch for sure. He a little lime. He a little unripe lemon to what he is. That's cute. We don't see a lot of those little boys. Maybe he's a baby though, of something else.
He's just munching over there.
Could you expand why would people resent constant kindness? Constant facilitation. Have you heard the term kowtow? Right? Constant facilitation engenders a kind of natural and subconscious enmity because you start to look at that person as a person who has no drive of their own.
Well, sometimes you can be too helpful too, like where people feel almost offended, like you think I can't do this myself.
Yeah. So a kowtow is a person, it's like a yes man. And I'm not saying that's what I was, but I was a facilitator. There were times where my friends would call me up last minute, bro, dude, I got kicked out of my apartment. I need to move out today. Can you please help me, bro? And I wanted to tell them, dude, I just pulled a 12, man. I can't. But I didn't. I showed up for them, right? And I busted my ass after a fucking whole ass day and helped them. in their hour of need. Then when my hour of need came, even though it wasn't last minute, these motherfuckers wouldn't show. I'd tell them like 6 weeks out, like, hey guys, on this date, can you please, I'm providing beer and pizza, man. I just need you guys to help me load up the truck and unload it. Oh yeah, dude, I'll make sure, I'm pretty sure I can get there. Nobody comes. It's like, all right. You know how many times I've moved myself and it's just me and whoever I'm dating?
Well, I think they think you should be guilt tripping them for them to help, I think.
I don't do that.
But they were guilt tripping you a lot of times when they were asking for help.
I didn't feel guilt tripped, but
they
maybe.
were saying, like, I'm desperate. I
Right.
need you, not I'd like you to help.
Maybe so. I don't know what.
They think, oh, if you're not acting like you're desperate for help, then maybe you don't really need it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just broke my ass for people. Is basically the way I would put it in, you know, more layman's terms. I just broke my ass open for people. And I expected that if I ever needed that, I was hoping I never would. And I'm the type of person that really never does, except in the extreme situations and stuff. Like when I got divorced, that was really when it slapped me in the face. You don't really have any friends, bro. I was like, whoa. Every last one of my friends was shitting on me. Like my closest friend in the whole fucking world. A dude I had done more for, not to, because once again, I'm not trying to claim credit for good works. But like, honestly, this was the thought process. I've banked more goodwill with this motherfucker than a human being could bank over a lifetime. And he turns on me in my hour of need without even hearing me out. Unreal to me. I couldn't believe it. But the end result of that was, you don't have a friend in this world, Paul. And I was like, shit. The whole thing, it was like the sweater song by Weezer. If you want to destroy my sweater, pull this thread as I walk away. The thread was pulled, and the sweater came apart, and I had a pile of yarn, and I was like, fuck. But it needed to happen to me. It needed to happen to me. I had to learn that. Because I was a toady. I was a doormat, a kowtow. I really thought I was banking all this goodwill away. My expectations for people were leading me around, hither and thither, looking for other people to react the way I wanted them to. It's just fucking bad. All the way around. Presumptive and shitty and silly. Some people you don't expect will come through for you, and some people, even family who owes you, will not. Yeah.
You can't count on.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You can. But get ready for disappointment.
Yeah.
You can. You can live your life led around by your expectations of other people, attempting in a futile fashion to impose your will on the rest of humanity. You can do that. You can. I've done it. Sometimes I still do it. I don't think it's the best thing for you. I don't think it's the best thing for me. Feels like the choices are conform and get friends or not. No. There are no binary choices in this life. You need to get that type of thinking out of your head. Every fucking thing exists on a gradient. Everything.
Yeah. Humans are too complex to set certain rules, and that's why socialization is hard for a lot of people, because there's a lot of things unsaid and variable.
Yes, yes. Now we're into it. Right?
Just like a language, you know things without really having been explicitly taught about them.
Yeah.
There's things in socialization where you either intuitively understand it or no one's going to explain it to you.
Right. Friends are like, you should really think of friends, because like, I think a lot of the drama that comes between people is, if you really think about it, every type of human interaction we have, every type of relationship that we have, right, is predicated by about a mountain of social expectation. So what is a friend according to our culture?
Someone that's a confidant.
Someone that you tell all your secrets to.
I mean, it's basically like a romantic partner light.
Mm-hmm.
And that causes a lot of confusion because some people think this level of friendship must mean they're into me.
Yes. But even setting aside the romantic entanglement part of it, you hit it on the head. It is romantic entanglement light. If you are honest about how our culture defines friendship, it is romantic entanglement light, and it creates these webs of drama, betrayal, hurt feelings, and bullshit. That is not friendship. Friendship is icing on a giant cake. Okay? If you walk into life expecting to make friends with everybody around you, you won't have a friend in this world. And if you think that you're walking a path in life and not having a friend means you're fucked, you are ignoring the opportunities that lie in the moment. I was bowled over when I read the Tao, and it said, if you don't let go of your expectations, your heart will never unclench. My heart has been a fist my whole life. Fist. You guys that watch me know this about me. I am a disappointed idealist. I want humanity to love one another. I want art and beauty to be what people do. My heart is clenched with the desire. And it will never feel right. It will never soften my heart until I learn to let go of my expectations of the world, of nature, of governments, of people, and stop defining my life. Period. It knocked my dick in the dirt when I heard that the first time, and it's so simple. So beautiful. I'd never thought about my heart clenched. And it's medically true. Stress congests and chokes your heart. Worry, depression, anxiety congest, clench your heart. Physically.
I mean, stress is arguably worse than a lot of different things that you could be doing. Stress will tear you apart faster than a lot of shit.
It'll kill your ass dead.
Yeah.
You'll be a dead person walking like that if you let stress rule it. 100%, I've been there. I speak from experience.
You won't eat, you won't sleep,
you won't take care of yourself. Yeah. You will be a bundle of raw nerves that wishes it wasn't. That's what it leaves you. Functionally suicidal because anything's better than this.
The body and the mind have this inherent connection.
People think of them as two different things, and they are one entire organ.
Yeah, like literally your stress can lower your immune system.
Yep. Stress lowers your immune system. Stress can make you more susceptible to chronic genetic disease. Like if you are stressed out, you are more likely to develop genetic rheumatoid arthritis than a person that isn't.
There's not every gene expresses itself.
Right.
It can be triggered by certain things.
It's like red hair, right? It's a recessive gene.
Well, I mean, not even just like recessive genes, but like certain things, like it could be a proclivity in your genetic code, but something could turn it on.
Well, your genetic code is mixed with another completely different genetic code by rule.
Yeah.
usually, unless you're a fucking victim of incest or something. But you're talking about, you've got this. So it's not entirely understood how genes express between the mixing of those two genomes, like not down to the pinpoint. So there can be wild deviance just in a genome when two people fold together and create a new being.
But yeah, but I'm just saying, like, some genes, like, they need a trigger to switch.
Right. So like a telomere trigger or whatever they call it, like a certain type of gene expression that needs another gene to activate it,
or a stimulus.
It's like, okay, if you looked at it like it's like being an asymptomatic carrier in some people, right? You have the gene, maybe you have a gene where your genetic line is prone to producing children with Down syndrome, more so than the aggregate of humanity, but you never have a child with Down syndrome.
I think we're still talking past each other.
Okay, all right. So explain it to me then.
I'm saying that, like, certain genes turn on based on a stimulus. So, like, a pollutant,
an
level
external
of stress,
external stimulus. Okay. Not functionally different, but just on a different part of the conversation. Yeah.
No, you're talking about genes talking to each other. I'm talking about, like, a gene can turn on based on an external stress.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And that is true. Yes. Genes don't have anything to do with disease. It's nutrition and gut health. This is pretty well known. Not in science.
Yeah, the
I don't know where it's pretty well known. Maybe on some...
is the root of all health is a lot of quackery, and a lot of them will try to sell you on the ideal diet or the ideal, like, supplement.
Read the China study. I actually know about this. So ancient Chinese medicine, we're talking pre-scientific medicine in ancient China, was based around gut. The gut was the furnace of the body. It was the center from which all energy came, and its health was closely monitored. Do you know what they used to do in ancient China to settle the gut and balance the humors and energies within it? They would serve people mercury.
Because this is what you're forgetting about that. I think China, like, the more traditional medicine that's not, like, scientifically based, the placebo effect is very strong too. So they believed this would work, which meant that more often than not it worked because of the placebo effect.
Right. The first dynastic emperor of China likely died of mercury poisoning as he was dying of cancer.
But he felt that it was making him better because everyone said it was going to make him feel better.
Right.
Anyone that's selling you a panacea for health is lying to you.
Yes.
Anyone that says that there's a solution that has no drawbacks
is lying. Or huckstering you. It's called snake oil.
Yeah. There is no magic solution or simple solution.
There's no magic bullet. There's no ancient Chinese wisdom that's going to help you skip the line from bad health to good health. It's pretty well known how somebody in poor health gets to good health, and it's entirely scientifically backed. It is calorie deficit. It is activity level. It is dietary choice. It is a combination of that plus your genetics.
Plus stress level.
Plus stress. Plus
exposure to certain things.
Exactly. And all of that is limited by your environment. Some people can't get healthy food because they just are
Some
poor.
People live somewhere where they get toxic shit all over them.
So there is no correct diet except the one that is correct for you. You try, dude, so much misery and failure is wrapped up in people trying to have other people tell them exactly what to eat when. Your body is a unique machine on this planet.
Yeah, because it's not just your gut. It's all the fucking bacteria in your gut. That's a whole biome that like, does its own thing.
Right. The gut is a part of your health. But ancient Chinese medicine and Eastern medicine, as they call it, is entirely concerned with the gut in a way that is completely and utterly ascientific. And this is just the truth.
Yeah, they've done studies on things like acupuncture where they fake it, where like they poke you with something but they don't penetrate you.
Right.
And people will get similar effects.
Right. It's psychosomatic.
Yeah.
You know, it's ritualistic, psychosomatic, placebo effect.
Yeah. And that's the tricky thing with placebo effect is you don't want to like completely dismiss it because it's a real thing.
It works.
But not for everyone.
Not
for everyone. That's the hard part is like I think doctors would like to say a placebo might be worth trying, but you shouldn't expect it to work. It doesn't have evidence that's consistent that it works.
Yeah. Well, dude, you're not going to be able to explain the China study to me in this chat, bro. I have no fucking clue what China study you're talking about. You can't link it. You're not really good at referencing it. Okay, here's the first time. It says that animal protein is what's causing the health probs. Okay, so that is one scientific data point. Has that data point been peer reviewed?
Well, peer review doesn't even necessarily mean it's true. It's just saying
it's a book. Has that data point? I know what peer review is. I want to know if this study has been peer reviewed. Has this study been tested and repeated externally? I don't care if it's a book. There's a fuck ton of self-help books out there that go like, here's what's hurting you. It's gluten. It's too much meat. It's too little meat. It's too much carbs. It's too much processed grain. There are tons of these self-help books. You're not going to convince me with that. Is there a scientific study? Is there a scientific 20-year study out of China that has been peer-reviewed and tested and repeated by the scientific community?
There's very few diets that have clear cause and effect. Like the keto diet was not designed for overall health. It was designed for a very specific population of medication-resistant epileptics.
Yes.
That's the one like clear cause and effect.
You can't explain that to people because people like this easy peasy headline medicine shit, in quotes.
Unless you're a medication-resistant epileptic, the keto diet isn't guaranteed to help you. And even for those people, there's pros and cons that they have to weigh. It's not a treatment that doesn't have side effects. I was just saying, like, even for the specific population keto's designed for, there's pros and cons. There's side effects to having that strict diet.
Right. Yeah. Can I claim you on my taxes? You can. It would probably not be a good idea for you to do that. You'll probably go to jail for it because tax fraud is a federal crime. But I can't, so, Well,
I mean, they don't have the information to even do it.
No. Well, they know my name. They could fill that out and fake everything else and see how it works out for them. I wouldn't recommend it. But your life is your life, bud. Would you mind, though? Does it matter if I mind?
It's illegal.
Can I stop you? It's illegal. The IRS will fuck you up. You want to fake your taxes? Put Mickey Mouse in there. For all I fucking care, bro. It's your life. Maybe you need 20 years in prison. Some people, I think, do. Some people come out of prison with a whole fucking new look at life, and they are better people, maybe not as a result of the punishment, but as a result of the experience. Maybe that's you. Get with it, bud. tremendously with the allergen response of dry eyes, which I get so bad.
But don't overdo it either.
I know. It just feels too good. It's so refreshing.
But yeah, there's really no treatment that works that doesn't have side effects. If it doesn't have possible side effects, it's not a treatment.
Yeah, it's true.
Because everybody is different.
Yep.
Too much diversity to have the one true treatment.
I don't get a ton of opportunity to message you, Paul, but I was very curious about your perspective on the latest Jill Stein AOC Breakfast Club stuff. But I get it if you don't want to touch on election stuff. No, that's cool. So I'm always, and I think you should be too, as a leftist, as a political leftist, I'm always super duper skeptical and weirded out when I see people punching left in an election season. Okay? The truth of the matter is, the DNC is terrified of Jill Stein because she holds a position that they could adopt right now and steal all her voters, but they don't want to do that. So they would rather rag her out in the press and spend their time and energy during an election season tearing down another leftist. That's what we call punching left, right? Than they would going after the fucking guy that they're opposed to, or developing a platform that answers some of the problems that create Jill Stein voters in the first place. That is the answer to Jill Stein. The answer to Jill Stein is to figure out a Palestinian fucking solution, a ceasefire, an immediate fucking pause, or a permanent pause in arms deals.
Yeah. And they've already tried, like she pointed out, the Green New Deal is something that her party had posited. But the thing is, you shouldn't be mad at politicians plagiarizing each other.
No, but when a politician like AOC plagiarizes the fuck out of Jill Stein, makes a centerpiece out of the Green New Deal, and then does nothing about it, and now it's a joke, that needs to be called the fuck out. Because AOC never did a fucking thing with the Green New Deal, but she used the aesthetics of somebody else's idea to get herself elected on false pretenses. And then, soon as she solidified her little corner of power, started punching left at the very person she ripped off to get where she is. Oops, that gets called the fuck out.
But yeah, I also hate the criticism of like buying votes. Like, you want the politician to buy your vote. You want them to sell you something that you want.
Yeah. Yep, AOC was canvassing for Greens, campaigning for Greens, and what she tweeted a couple of days ago was, let's be real, Jill Stein hasn't won a bingo game in 10 years, let alone... It's like, she's been assimilated. She's a little Pelosi now. And this is what happens. This is why you don't put any faith in the DNC. Even if somebody is based when they get elected, they either get fucking primaried immediately because they went too far against the grain, or they become part of the power structure. You proud of AOC walking to a bunch of Israeli war protesters and saying that they're fucked up? You guys seen that clip? You guys are fucked up. Really? Are they? Because you would have been with them 5 years ago.
How much defense she's played for Biden, doing the same things that she was crying.
Oh my God, they
about
used
Trump
her.
did.
They used her like a cum rag right before they dumped Biden. They had her going out there going like, Biden is the best president ever, guys. He's totally lucid, guys. He's not fucked up, guys. He's not too old. And then like, they just didn't even care about her rep. 2 days later, they're like, Biden's out. They didn't buy it. And now she's got that hanging over her. That was like 3 months ago she said that shit. Never accounted for it. Just gaslit everybody. Oh well, now I'm on Team Kamala. How predictable. And there are people out there still carrying water for this fucking establishment woman. And it's like, why? Yeah, Jill Stein can be intentionally inflammatory. You're absolutely fucking right. And as well she should be. She's fighting against a completely and utterly monopolistic fake duopoly.
Yeah. I mean, like, had the Green New Deal actually gone forward the way she intended it to be, I don't think she'd be mad.
Hell fucking no. And if had that been possible, AOC would be a different politician.
Yeah.
They'd be working together. But AOC loved the aesthetics of that Green New Deal. Loved the aesthetics of resistance Dems and what was her little thing called? The progressive caucus. No. The thing that Kyle started with her. The fuck, what were they called? You guys will know. Remember Kyle's little attempt to like get progressives, Justice Dems. There you go. Oh my God. She used Kyle, his clout, his organizational skill, and his vision like a cum rag. She used it, draped herself in it. Oh, I'm a Justice Dem. I'm a Green New Deal. And then as soon as she got the opportunity, she signed her life away to IPAC and Pelosi. And just giggles in anybody's face who calls her on it now and says they don't know how to, quote, build power. Bitch, that's not the type of power I want to build. If you can't beat them, join them. Doesn't work for me.
I don't know. Do you think Cenk had any role in Biden stepping down? Because that was his purported goal, was to replace Biden.
I mean, did he have a role in being a media voice that was like trumpeting the same shit that everybody else was saying? Yes. Was he directly responsible? No.
I don't think his campaign was necessary. It was...
No, I mean, he proved his point.
Yeah.
I mean, it got his name back out there. It got him in the conversation. And that, you know, that's all he really fucking had any hopes of doing. Mm-hmm. But the way that he is just knuckled under to this Kamala administration has been kind of, especially since this debate. Something broke in Little Chenky. He watched that debate and he thought that was a slam dunk win. And it's like, now he's
screamed at people for the same Israel positions that Kamala has.
Oh yeah, he was like 3 weeks ago screaming bloody murder at people on his show and on other people's shows for having Kamala's position on Israel. All of that is gone now. Now he's Mr. Cheerleader because it's crunch time. He's a lib. It's crunch time. Now it's time to set aside what you actually think is good and play football. And he'll be one of the first fucking libs to start criticizing Kamala when she keeps bombing Palestinians to the dirt. Not until she's elected. And I have very little respect for that. I don't think that's how you extract concessions. Like, I think there's a chance that if Kamala, like, tried this hardball, I'm a Republican now, and people were like, fuck you, bitch, I ain't voting for you then. She might go like, all right, I'll shut down the Israel thing. You might at least get a promise out of her or something, you know? But nah, nobody knows how to fucking play the game, so there's no point in playing it. Everybody's fucking made up their own rules. And
there was an article I read where she's basically just not reaching out to Hispanic people hardly at all.
Yeah.
Because the border position has changed.
Yeah. That's the thing. They don't even overtly offer anything. It's all vibes. Well, we've allowed that to happen. We've allowed them to remove substance from the political process and replace it with vibe checks. And it seems like a lot of really smart people are happy that's happening and going right along with it. They're happy to jump on the vibe train. But I think that a lot of them have forgotten what being a leftist means. Dude, when your party lurches to the right, it's supposed to be all hands on deck, red alert. Oh, fuck. The Overton window usually creeps to the right, but it just took a massive jump. Now we're all pro-cop, pro-law enforcement, pro-border fascism, anti-immigrant. What is this? Now we've got leftists and liberals and shit saying that there are migrants busting into people's homes and raping them and shit. It's just like they're running with this fucking narrative now.
I know, it's like they're trying to beat Trump on immigration rather than trying to convince people that immigrants are actually a net benefit.
It's if you can't beat them, join them again. Well, that's how you build power. I'm AOC, and let me talk to you like you're a kindergartner about how you build power.
This is how the government works. You just can't be
When you get in
transgressive.
power, you immediately sell out to the biggest corporation you can. That is how you build power. You stab everyone that grassroots helped you in the back, and you become Nancy Pelosi. You don't know how to build power. Fuck you. Why is she talking to you like you're a kindergartner and you're celebrating it?
Like, I think you liked Bernie because he wasn't trying to be, like, appealing. He was old and a little
Crotchety.
disheveled.
Yeah. Yeah, there was substance to his campaign. I know it's crazy to even think about that in the modern era, but yeah, I liked Bernie because he wasn't trying to be a media star in the way he looked and presented himself. The star was his policy. I don't know, y'all. I'm pretty wore out with this politics shit now. Watching people play this fucking game and cope and subvert their fucking clearly and openly stated positions to play the game for an optical win is just fucking so disheartening. As a leftist, to see that class consciousness is not flowing, it's ebbing, is fucked up. Just lessens every cycle. Every cycle it gets further and further down. Workers' rights, worker solidarity, global fucking worker revolution becomes less and less possible because people care less and less about the fundamentals of it. And we get further and further down this rabbit hole of argument with each other and accepting an increasingly subverted political system where now they don't even give you shit to vote for. Their whole message is vote against Project 2025, vote against Donald Trump, vote against, you know, vote against Kamala Harris and her communist fucking shit. It's like, dude, if she was even nominally communist, she'd be fucking blowing Trump's ass out. Calling this bitch as a communist, it just reveals that you're a retard to me. Vibes. Ooh, Kamala is a queen. Got a policy? No. I am speaking. Excuse me. I am speaking. Any policy. Hey. We are defined by the context of what has been, but we move forward towards what is. Okay? All right. You got a policy? Hey, I am speaking. It's like, that's our fucking politicians now? No thanks. Pass. I'm not a kindergarten child, and you're not my fucking big, fat, black mammy. Go fuck yourself. Talk down to me with that bullshit. I know what bullshit sounds like. We live in the context of what we are unburdened by the past, but looking towards the future, unburdened by what has been, but unburdened of what is coming. It's like, I know bullshit when I hear it. I know how to spin a sentence and say nothing. I can do that too. Got any policies? What are we going to do about this genocide going on? That's not how you build power. Get me the fuck out. You want me to fucking sign my name under that? No thanks. Hard pass. You want me to run interference and free PR for that? Nope. Enjoy yourself, though. It'll pay off in 0 dividends. Watch. Your life will get worse as a result. Good job. You better eat up my political commentary this cycle, because if you stick with me through the next one, you ain't gonna see the same Paul. This is over, bro. I'm only tuned in to see it through to the end. That's it, man. I'm like one of those people that stopped liking a show 3 seasons ago, but I just want to see how it wraps up, bro. And after it's done, bro, it's done. Never again are you going to catch me doing anything other than making fun of the duopoly and talking about labor. You're never going to hear it again. Ever again. I'm not even engaging with it on that level ever again. It's done. I'll laugh in your fucking face as you cheerlead. I'll be there. I'm not saying I'm going away. It's just this, like trying to talk sense in this political environment, that shit's fucking over. I'm in it for the fuck. You're in it for the vibes. I'm in it for the lulls, man. Okay? A little bit of an anachronism, I know, but hey, I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it $1.50 with you. I'm in it for the lulls from here on out. Yo, Unc, who bothering you? Bro. Dude, baby gangster. Can you please come help your Unc out, bro? Everybody's bothering me, bro. And I need somebody to step up and help take my back, bro. Dude, young gangster, could you take your Unc's back when he needs it? Because everybody pestering Unc, and I'm too old. Look at them in the chat. They're pestering your Unc. You gonna let that happen, Cud? Cuddy. Will you step up and take Unc's back? Please. Because these motherfuckers pestering. Okay? You know, you let the OG sitting on his porch get pestered like this by all these youngins. Yeah, all these nephews coming by trying to tell Unc what's up. Thanks, Reverse. Thanks. That's what I'm talking about right there. Doesn't even know me, but he's got my back because he understands I'm being Dude, why are they trying to pester this old guy sitting on his porch? I ain't paid my dues. You can't look at my face and tell me I ain't paid my dues. This guy right here got a little bit of respect for my gangster, and I like that. He don't even know me, but he looked at me and he was like, hey man, who's bothering you today? That's respecting somebody's fucking gangster. That's what we called him. That's a baby G right there. You know, and that ain't talking down. That's how we used to call. You know, I don't use all the same lingo, but that's a baby G right there. You know how they used to, that Reverse would have said that shit fucking 20 years to me? Hey, yo, big homie. You need somebody to take your back, Cud? And I'd be like, yeah, baby G. These motherfuckers are pestering me, man. That'd be it. We need to keep that, dude. Keep that energy, Reverse, please. Keep that energy. Old heads like me must be protected at all costs, because you know what? You might hate my guts, but you'll miss me when I'm gone. You gonna think about me when I'm gone. I need that money like the ring I never won. I want. I'm leaving on gone. It is true though, dude. The BGs got they don't respect the big homies anymore, dude. They don't. There used to be a little bit of respect for the big homies amongst the baby gangsters. The BGs showed a little bit of love up the food chain, and now I feel like they don't care anymore, bro. They don't give a fuck no more. They don't give a fuck no more, bro. You let the OGs that paved the road that you're walking on for you. You don't pass them their props. You don't give them their due and proper respect. You don't check in. Ever. I mean, come on. What kind of world is that, bro? Is that what you want when you're old? Because we left them a world that's cursed and it hurts. Maybe so. But you know what? I didn't curse the world, man. I inherited a cursed world too, and I did my best, and I might have fucked it up a little bit, but I didn't try to fuck it up, man. And you're not doing anything to fix it neither, little G. So why do you have to hate on a soldier that's already been through the battle? I got fucked too. I was born into a society. You want to play a blame game? We're going to be back at the first caveman real quick. It's like, oh, blame your parents. Well, what about their parents? Oh, blame them then. Well, what about their parents? You know what I mean? People aren't made in a vacuum, bro. You and every other woman, Layla. Almost every other woman. I'm sorry that it's such a fearful idea for you to get old, but you will. And you'll still be, every bit the valid human being that you are now. The way you look, the way that your body changes, it doesn't matter. It might matter to you super hard right now, but you will find, dude, take it from an old head, okay? By the time you get there, you're going to like it. And if you don't, if you're one of these people that like wars with it all the time, you're going to end up fucking weird and fucked up, bro. But yeah, you'll end up fucked up quick. Oh, you want to be around for the shit show. Well, I can't really help you with that. I do. But that's another conversation entirely. My phone's about to die. These flies are about to drive me nuts.